All right, guys, welcome back. This is our 5th episode of Onyx Storm. We are in the big finale, and where we left off, and Darna's gone. Violet's not doing well.
No.
She's in Zayden's shirt, and she hasn't left her bed in, I think she said, 3 days.
A deep depression, but just remember, usually this bond kills the writer.
Right.
If it's severed, it kills the writer.
Well, and she kind of wakes up that morning to Mira's voice being like, all right, I didn't fly all this way to watch you sleep. Get up, get out of bed, let's go. And there's been a rotation of Brennan reading in the chair next to her, Zayden staying over and holding her, and her friends coming in and out, but she's just basically very depressed.
Yes.
Very depressed. Mira flies back. We hear Brennan at the door, and he's like, let me in, okay? If she's talking to you, let her talk to me, too. And Mira's like, well, at least she's talking to me. Looks like you suck as a big brother. What have you been fucking doing? He's like, I've been sitting right there, and I've been running this whole freaking rebellion and feeding these people and doing all this stuff. There's stuff.
Brennan's not thinking about the emotional
No, Mira's response is what? It's hard? I've been on the front lines, bitch.
Yeah, I've been saving your life day in and day out while you've been sitting and reading a book next to her.
Oh, big brother.
I'm so sorry for you.
Go fake your death again. No. Zayden comes and kind of separates them. I feel like they go into a different room or something like that. You could still hear Mira and Brennan. Zayden tells her she needs to take a bath because she stinks.
Yeah. Which, thank goodness, somebody needed to tell her.
Well, I thought it was very sweet. I'm not going to lie. Their sweet scenes in this book, for some reason, kind of annoy me.
Because they're sweeter. Usually he's kind of
yeah,
it's either declarations of love or sarcastic.
We're not getting the not sweet part, I think, and that's what's really annoying me. I don't want the fade to black. We're getting too much fade to black with just the sweetness, so now the sweetness feels like, it's annoying. It's annoying now. I don't really like it.
For some reason, I like it more.
That totally makes sense. Zayden bathes her, takes her hair down.
Okay, by the way, I would hate this. I would hate this.
The reason I'm bringing it up is because I know you would hate it.
Oh, God. I'm really nervous for when I'm an old lady. Well, fingers crossed I'm an old lady when I...
Yeah, and you have to be bathed.
And I have to, be bathed. What am I going to do?
Would you rather a stranger do it?
Yes, probably.
I was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But I also have this weird thing where I'm always scared I smell. So if I ever smell, you got to tell me.
I think we all just get smells as we get older.
I don't want to, though.
My right past age now I have BO all of a sudden. Never have had BO in my life.
This is awkward. You've always had BO. No, I'm just kidding.
Never have. Never have. My best friend would be like, it's because you use that organic fucking deodorant. It don't work. It was before that, too. So now I'm might as well not use the aluminum if it doesn't really matter.
More chemicals. So you don't stink.
Aluminum. Well, and now I wish I wouldn't have used it when I didn't need it for multiple decades.
Oh, yeah.
And now I could use it when I actually need it.
Is it bad that I yell at my kids all the time? I say, put that aluminum back on that armpit. You stink. It sucks when the kids start smelling.
After, practice, when you're supposed to smell. And I smelled him. I'm like, oh, my God, you need to take a shower. He's like, I just played basketball for 2 hours. And I'm like, I'm not saying it's not okay. I'm just saying children don't smell that way.
Yeah.
After sweating. Okay.
You've got...
You now smell that way after exerting yourself.
Yeah.
That's another thing, driving carpool.
Yeah.
And even though you're talking to the boys at some points in the carpool, they forget you're there, I think.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, do you have hair under your armpits yet? I don't know. I'm like, no, you guys are 10. Definitely do not. Absolutely not.
I don't know. Thursday night, I usually am doing the soccer carpool.
Oh, okay.
And you know what I got voted?
Best soccer carpool.
Yes.
Driver.
Yes.
Number one
and
driver.
So
no, but tell them why.
Because I talk about intellectual things. They'll literally just be like, tell us a story. And I'll be
it's
like...
It's the girls. These are 9-year-old girls.
Do you want to hear the history of why women's pants historically don't have usable pockets? And then I tell them the whole story.
You pink pill carpool, and they love it.
They love it.
These 9-year-old girls eat it up. Yeah.
Yes. And they were evidently disappointed and vocal about that disappointment
That it was
when
dad.
when my when my husband showed up.
Oh, I love that. They're like, oh, I thought it was your
Oh,
mom.
that sucks.
Did Mike pink pill them as well?
No, but he did say they were very rambunctious and all over the place. I'm like, they do not do that around, on my
Did
carpool.
you have a story, Michael?
Yeah, he needs to pink
All you
pill
need
'em.
is a story. Boys, snacks. Girls, story.
See, no boys, no snacks, because they make a mess all over my car.
They do.
I like a clean car. I like my car to look like I don't have kids.
So our carpools are always like, can you take us to McDonald's? Can you take us to Portillo's? Can you take us to 7-Eleven?
I always am like, no. They
Oh, I never
always
do either.
ask.
But all the other moms are cool.
I know it drives me nuts. Like the
Yeah.
swim, every single time they like get in and they're like, "We swim so hard. I think we deserve it." And it's like awkward because I'm like, I'm not stopping. I want to go home.
I don't
You
even
are
like half you
lucky
bitches.
that I even gave you a ride. Appreciate it. You don't have to walk. Okay.
With your wet hair in February. Okay, sorry. So, Mira, they're done bathing.
Thank you for
Okay.
pointing that out. It went on to quite the tangent.
Yeah, you might need to cut a lot of that out.
No.
They are done bathing, and as they're walking into the other room, they hear Mira and Brennan still fighting. Or actually, Zayden comes back in. And he's like, "Who's Mira?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh God." So apparently, Brennan noticed the bracelet Mira had on and was arguing with her about the visit. They come in. Mira's like, there are months missing from mom's journal you don't understand. And he's like, so what? She didn't journal for a little bit. And she's like, it's in the middle of the journal. And it's when we were staying with grandma and Violet went with them because she was too young. And when they came back, they never talked again. So something happened on that trip. And Brennan says that doesn't mean they hauled her to Dune's temple and dedicated her. And that's when Violet starts to put the pieces together. She starts to hear what the priestess at Umbriel said to her, asked her about her hair, asked her, she noticed the other little girls with the same color hair, which
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I was a little disappointed that it took Violet this long.
Yeah.
I noticed it right away.
Yeah.
Everybody. The fact that it took everybody this long.
Agreed. That we should have seen that. But she has had a lot on her plate.
But like her hair
Yeah.
has been a major focus at the entire university.
That's true.
That people notice her, they know who she is, she still doesn't cut her hair, it doesn't matter. It's been a major theme until right now.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden nobody on Quest Squad picked up the fact when they were in Umbriel that
I feel like Riddick should have found out,
all
like,
of
figure
them.
pointed
Garrick
this
should have
out.
put it together. Zayden should have put it together. Fucking Kat, even.
Yeah.
You know, like they knew, Kat knew who she was.
I
because of
picture
her hair.
it would have been cool if Riddick would have done it the same way. He would have been like, "Oh, I'm the only one that knows
Wait,
this.
I know something you guys.
I found it on the general's desk that day we snuck in. Oh.
Dane, like nobody put it
Yeah,
together. Come on.
that's fair.
So I was honestly a little annoyed reading all of her putting it together at this point. Mira also they're still fighting. They don't even know Violet's there. Mira tells them that the priestess started the process and told them the only accept children whose futures are certain. And Violet's path still had a choice in it. And one of those paths they refused to take her for. Because if she chose something, she would turn. And then that's when Brennan's like, stop,
Yeah.
punching his sister.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I didn't want you to hear that. Turn what? Turn
Yeah.
venom? Is
Yeah.
that what it is? If you chose poorly, she would turn venom. And Brennan's like, there's still no way. There's still no way. She didn't take you there. And Violet's putting together that no, it probably was Umbriel. And it's like, Mom never would have done that. It's like, they had never seen dragons. Mom wasn't there. She remembered the excerpt from her mom's journal, which was like back in chapter 53. It was like the excerpt saying she didn't know if she would ever forgive Asher when he came back.
Yeah.
Dad went alone.
So why do we know why he tried to dedicate her?
Because of the illness,
The
weak
illness.
joints. So he thought
This would save her.
It would fix her. Which, remember, she said was disappointing. Because
Yeah.
I think she thought her dad thought the world of
Was
her, which
yeah.
doesn't mean he didn't, Violet. It just means he's a dad. And if there was an avenue to make your life easier, he was going to do it.
Frankly, I read that as I feel a lot of guilt
Yeah.
because he's probably the one that came up with the solution for the mom to even take while she was pregnant.
What do you mean?
Isn't that why she has weak joints? Is because she got sick and she took some sort of medicine that made it happen?
I don't know.
I thought that was at the very beginning.
We know she was ill, but we don't know why. We were theorizing about
Yeah.
it. Like, remember at that point, we were like, ooh, maybe dad's venin or something
Oh.
like that.
Huh.
So I don't know if we were trying to put together why her hair was that way because her hair was such a big fucking theme. What?
I heard you like get farther away from the mic
What?
and it was obvious.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, so they asked
Well, now you're
Brennan.
like shouting.
I'm sorry. Then Brennan. Brennan looks at Mira and is like, exactly what did the priestess say? The heart that beats for you or within you would do the wrong thing for the right reason, reach for unspeakable power and turn dark. And he was like, the right thing, the one within you or the one that beats for you? Which one? She's like, isn't it the same thing? They're like, no. And Violet's like, is this why you've been all skittish and weird around me? You think I'm going to turn venom? And she's like, maybe, I don't know. And then Zayden's like, stop.
Yeah.
It's me. I'm the heart that beats for her.
Yeah.
I turn to unspeakable power.
And she's like, no, Zayden, no.
Don't do it. As Mira's like grabbing her dagger to like fucking kill him.
Yes.
She's like, don't do it. He's stable. He's stable. Oh, sorry. Don't do it. He's stable. He's stable.
Well, no, don't be too scared.
He's stable.
Just like.
He's so stable.
Okay.
The stablest of stable.
Okay.
All right. Don't do it. Don't do it. He's.
I'm sorry. I think I got in your head. Just talk normal.
I don't know.
Just look at my face, and if I go like this, that means it's too loud.
I don't have the headphones on, so I can't tell. Okay. As they're talking, Mira's like, he'll kill you. That's what they do. And Violet's like, no, he's stable. And Zayden's like, I mean, listen, I am stable right now, but we're only fending off the inevitable.
Yeah.
But
He's
right
like,
now,
this is just
this is where it
contingency
is.
planning.
He also tells Violet mind to mind that she has no intentions of saying anything. And she's like, he broke through her shields. So it's just an inkling that he's getting more powerful, right?
Yeah.
With the venom. Mira, I think, storms out at this point and tells Brennan,
But
like,
she doesn't murder Zayden on the
she
spot.
doesn't. But
so,
she totally does a middle child thing and is like, fine. If she fucking gets murdered, it's your fault, Brennan. And leaves. Don't blame me. Violet also, I didn't mention when she was in the bath with Zayden, she's like, I've missed runes for 3 days. And Zayden was like, babe, 3 days was never going to fucking help you. Don't worry about it.
You suck at runes.
So we pan to all day runes classes, which is nice because it gets to be outside. But Violet is having an insane amount of trouble. An insane amount of trouble because she has to use Tarn's power and not Andarna's. So Quinn like tries to help her or offers to help. Imogen gets a little snarky and she's like, I've tried. And she's like, maybe she doesn't want to learn from someone who's known their whole life how to do them because she's Turish.
Yeah.
And she's like, maybe it's easier coming from someone else who had to pick it up. And Violet's like, thank you. So Quinn gives her the tip of using Tarn's power. It's too powerful, right? So maybe like really twist it and bend it and be aggressive with it, which I thought was good advice.
Isn't it so good to really hear about Quinn now all of a sudden?
It's so interesting that all of a
Quinn
sudden
is like this
do you know that's
really cool
I'm
character
gonna be
now.
honest with you. I
Yeah.
know I don't want to spoil alert us ahead. It's literally the only reason I typed that note in
Uh-huh.
because
I
we
know.
had to talk about Quinn a little bit.
The only reason that I said that back to you is because I listened to this with you and you went, what the fuck?
I'm so annoyed. Okay, so they're in their rune practice, which Violet very much needs. She does actually do a passable rune after Quinn's advice when Felix walks up and she's like, oh shit, now I gotta wield. Just getting out of bed has been hard, but let's go ahead and do this. So she goes with Felix He yells at her instantly and is like, I've already yelled at Ree. She's already been talked to.
Yes.
But you need to stick to the mission. You would have fucked everything up
Yeah.
had that Irid not come and fired the wards.
You
We
really
would have all
showed
died.
yourself as a cadet and not a actual soldier.
Yes, you need to understand that maybe they were in danger because your ass was there.
Yeah.
And we put you in certain places for a reason. So stop. So then we have days essentially of Violet wielding nonstop and really getting good and precise, and Brennan being annoyed that he has to mend her day after day after day after day because she mends herself to near burnout.
Yeah.
So they're kind of going back and forth, and he's like, "What are you gonna do when you go to Arisha?" At that point, Bodhi and Zayden come in from flying because they're taking off flight leathers and stuff, and Bodhi's pissed. So this is the first inkling that we get that Bodhi is really annoyed that Zayden is only putting him in safe situations because he's prepping Bodhi to take over
Yeah.
for him, for Tyrandor.
And Bodhi's like, I'm not even in line for the throne. Like,
This is
he
your
didn't
bag.
grow up
Yeah.
being in quote unquote line for the throne.
You're the heir.
Yeah, he was an extension. He was a distant cousin.
I think he says, and then our parents had to get themselves fucking executed.
Yeah.
And this is your job.
Now
You're
this is
the
you.
next in line,
Yeah.
not
But
me.
He does know that Zayden's Venom.
Well, that's what he says. He turns to him at the end. And he's like, "Listen, you want someone to be in line for Tyrandor? Get your fucking shit together.
Yeah.
It's not me. Don't put this shit on me." I feel for him there, but I'm also like, listen, royal family and all. You got to be ready, even though you cousin. Your parents did go get themselves executed.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the situation you're in. Stomping your feet about it isn't going to help.
Right.
Your cousin's Venom.
Right.
You are basically the Duke.
Yes. Bodhi storms off because he's a little pissy. And Brennan's like, "Here, got some mail for you, Zayden. Why did the king of Deverelli say my sister was your consort?" And he's like, I think that's the least of what he could have said, actually. And they're going through the mail. Violet instantly is like, "Are you preparing for your own demise?" And he just starts telling her about his day. And he's like, "Hey, if you wanted to know, the priestess of Dune owes me a favor because she was really happy with what you and Reed did and saving them and all." And Violet's like, "Yeah, I read some books. Get back to the point here.
Yeah.
Are you preparing for your own demise?" And he's like, "I am, but I am not embracing the fall. Okay? I'm preparing, but I'm going to fight for it."
Yeah. I'm not giving up,
Right.
but I'm contingency planning.
Exactly.
Which is very smart.
Is what we expect.
Yes.
Right? And then it's like, "Are we going to talk about this all night?" And he's like, "I had other things in mind." And she's like, "Ooh, yeah." And they were looking at the throne, and she's like, "Yeah, baby. Give it to me on the throne." And then it fades to black. Actually, this isn't a Marissa fade to black. It actually fades to black.
Which makes Marissa happy. Again, this is more signs Rebecca likes me.
This is super annoying, actually. Okay, so we wake up. Well, we don't wake up. We are introduced to Violet in a nightmare. And right away, I knew she was in Zayden's dream because it was shadows and it was talking about her, which
Yeah.
she's a her. But it took Violet a minute. But once she realized she was in Zayden's dream and she was Zayden, she felt like a snap. And it was the first time that she was like pulled outside of it and was actually walking. It was an observer, right? It wasn't actually him.
Yeah.
And the sage, it's his reoccurring nightmare with the sage, right? The sage sees her and addresses her. "Nice to see you joined us, lightning wielder," or should I say, dreamwalker. So I find it interesting that the Venom and the dream have always interacted
Yeah.
with her, as in maybe Berwyn's like signet is dreamwalking.
Oh.
Because
maybe-
Berwyn is always the sage,
Yeah.
sage, and the dream, right? So maybe that's why. Maybe that's the answer there. I don't know. Anyways, I just find it interesting that they're always aware of her and sending her messages. The same also is said because he warns her. It's simple, Dreamwalker. You come or she dies. Who's she? Because we have Zayden and Violet in there right now. Violet realizes she has to like do pain in order to wake herself up. A dagger all of a sudden forms itself because duh, it's a dream. She stabs herself. She wakes up. She wakes Zayden up. Zayden confirms that he saw her there and he knew she was there.
Yeah.
Which was new and that had never happened before. And then all of a sudden, like always, There's a pounding at the door. Garrick's at the door, and Zayden says, "Oh, you look like shit." And then I thought it was funny that Violet put on a robe and got there and was like, "He was right. Garrick looks like shit."
You do look like shit.
Very distraught. He's like, she ripped us straight out of the sky. They've reached the walls of Drathis. She said we have 5 hours or she dies. And at this point, Violet's recognizing this massive shield that he has, and she realizes it's not a shield, it's green, and it's the same color as her armor.
Yeah.
It's Tiny's scale. It's Mira. She is Mira. They have Mira.
Yeah, they have 5 hours, and she's like, I want Violet and the brothers
Yes.
to come. And so Zayden's, of course, like, well, I'm definitely coming.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So they know that they have to make a plan because there's a lot of stuff to happen. And Violet historically has had ADHD when it comes to battles, where she just wants to be everywhere and save everyone, hence her almost burning out multiple times.
Right.
So, you know, everybody's like, well, this is obviously a trap. And she's like, of course it's a trap. We know it's a trap.
But what are we going to do?
But we have no other option.
You're not going to defend Drathis?
Yeah.
You're
Are
not
we
going to defend all the citizens going through the pass? You're not
Exactly.
going to save my sister? Like, which one?
And Brennan's actually like, my sister too.
He was doing that the whole time.
So basically, Brennan was like, there's no options. We can't, like, we don't have the span of control to be able to do this. And Zayden is just like, I need my strategists to just do a better job.
I did find that interesting. He's like, maybe give me more options. He's like,
Yeah.
those are the options. It's like, well, do your job.
Yeah.
Make something happen.
I do not accept this plan.
Meanwhile, there's a whole peanut gallery going on
Yes.
of people being like, yeah, do this, do this.
Yes.
And the whole side story
Yeah.
that was going on while all this discussion, where Kat's like, would you let your own citizens, or because you're behind the wards, do you feel fine? And somebody says something that Violet doesn't know, and Sloane lunges. I just saw this like cat fight, like, bitch, say that to my face, come here. And like Violet's like about to grab her, and Dane grabs her instead. And
Yeah.
as soon as he sets her down, she's like, she punched him twice, and he said something that calmed her down a little bit. And he kind of looked over at Violet like, she's fucking kids.
I
These
love
kids.
them together, by the way.
Yeah, so we're getting these little tidbits, and we're going to get more even, right? They are showing signs of being in an early, like,
Yeah.
enemies to lovers
Yes.
story. So I feel like we should have a novella
I feel
of
like
this enemies to lovers.
I don't think it's like enemies to lovers as much as like authority to
Well,
subordinate.
no, she's a relic kid. And his dad is General Atos.
That's
It's kind of
true.
like Sorengale. It's same as Zayden and Violet.
That's true, but reverse.
And not as dramatic. Like,
Yeah.
they're, you know, well, he's the general's son.
Yeah.
But he was already a rebel once it was the general.
Rebel Squad. By the way, I love this. Okay.
I know.
So all of that's happening in the background. It feels like chaos. And basically, you can only pick one. Okay.
Yeah.
We can either defend Drathis, we can defend the pass, or we can save Mira. So you pick. And she's like, why do I have to pick? Like,
Yeah.
that's an impossible answer. Everybody.
Welcome to leadership, baby.
Yeah, yeah. Get over it. And he's like, the reason you have to pick is because wherever you go, he goes. And if you don't stick to one plan
Yeah.
and you're all over the place, we're going to lose.
Right.
You have the power to make us fail.
Right.
So you need to pick and you need to stand by that pick. And so that way everybody else can work their part of the plan.
Right.
And
I will say, Brennan very much big brothered that whole thing
Yeah.
up. Everybody out, you pick, and this is why. And when he said it all, I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
no, fair. Totally fair,
Yeah.
Brennan. And
He said, you will always choose everyone over yourself, and he will always choose you over everyone.
yes.
So,
So pick.
if you don't want to fall into this trap, figure it out.
And she said, kill Theophany. And he's
Smart.
like, that wasn't one of the options, but really fucking smart. I got an idea. Rebel Squad. Rebel Squad's got an idea.
I did love how he was like, ooh,
Yeah.
yes, okay. But it made sense.
Yes.
It made sense.
So the plan, I feel like one of the hardest things is they never say the plan and then you see them execute it. You're just seeing snippets of the execution.
Yeah.
And then you have to pull the plan together.
Right. I do also like how they ended that conversation
Yeah.
where he's like, "Okay, you have your mission.
Yeah.
You kill Theophany, and do you promise that's what you're going to do?" And she's like, "I'll do whatever it takes to save Mira," which was a very Andarna way
Yeah.
to say, "I appreciate your suggestion, but I'm going to do whatever the
Yes.
fuck I want to do."
Yes.
Bro.
I will. My mission is to kill her,
Yeah.
but if I don't save Mira, the mission has failed.
Listen, when it comes down to it, we both know I'm going to do what I want to do. So yeah.
So
All
get
right.
over it.
So they are on their way, and Violet is like internally feeling guilty that she's the reason Mira's even in danger at all, and now everyone's in danger, and it's all my fault. And this time around, Tarn didn't go into, "Well, I chose you, so you're obviously perfect." Obviously, he actually gave her. It was harsh advice, but it was good advice. You are a weapon, and will have to learn to accept the sacrifice of others in your name if you want to win this war.
Yep.
It is out of your control. When it comes down to it, people are going to sacrifice themselves for you, and it's the right choice, and you just need to grapple with that.
Yeah.
Which I will say would be really hard to grapple with.
Yeah.
I would have a very hard time with that.
As soon as her mom sacrificed, she really struggled with it because
Yeah.
everyone had to go around the room and say, "I pick you over your mom," like,
Right.
as she's dying.
Right. But don't you understand her mom's decision?
I understand.
That was the
it.
only decision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And frankly, if it was anybody else in the room, it would be the same decision. Violet's too important of a weapon.
Right. Exactly.
So finally, Taryn just told her like it is.
I do like also that as they're on their way, they say Molvik, which is Arik's blue dragon. And
Yep.
Violet's response is fucking Arik. But he's on his way out, away from the battle, which is Tarn kind of tells her in like a Tarn kind of tells her like he's running.
Oh, yeah.
But Arik wouldn't run. So like what is he up to? What's going on? He's supposed to be behind the wards, but he's going the opposite way. He's going south.
Yeah.
Violet, Brennan, Zayden come around the corner, mountain range. I don't know where the hell they are, but they see Tiny chained. They see blood coming off of the different parts where she's chained down, surrounded by like seven or nine wyvern. And Theophany is in front of them with a blade on Mira's throat. She has beat the shit out of Mira. She's bleeding everywhere. And I love how Violet's like, "How fucking dare she?" My daughter all the time goes, "How dare you?" Like that. So that's what I read it in my head. "How fucking dare she?" And right away, Tarn's like, "She will die for this." Battle machines, right?
Yeah.
So they get there. They're doing a lot of villain dialogue back and forth. It's Violet, Brennan, Zayden. I think Bodhi's there because Theophany was like, "You brought the wrong person. Like, what is he doing there?" And it's like, "You said brother." And she's like, "Berwin will be disappointed," which makes you know it was Jack. They were right.
Yeah.
And it's like, "He'll be here in a minute. Don't just wait."
Yeah.
You know,
You should have been more specific.
listen, you got more time for your villain monologue, okay?
Yeah.
We're giving you a little bit of time. Which, why was Garrick late?
Because Garrick is tired. He's been running around for days.
No, he has not.
I don't know.
But that's an interesting. I just thought of that. Like, why wasn't he there?
Actually,
was
if
it
you
for
think
shock?
about it, he had to break Jack out of the jail. They didn't
And
have
get the chest
Jack
and all
they
that.
Don't
Maybe he
have
was doing
control
all
of
that. Like, yeah, we don't even know where the chest was.
Yeah.
He could have had to walk. Okay. Fine, Garrick. It's fine for you to be fashionably late. But as they're waiting, Theophany's doing that monologue, right? She's still trying to tempt Violet. "I won't make the same mistake he did with you. I'm going to make him proud this time around." So there's this, obviously someone higher than her that she wants to make proud. Garrick shows up. Jack's in the chest. Tarn tells her what Jack looks like, which is death, basically. And she's like, "All right, he's here. I'm here. You have what you need. Give me my sister." And she's like, "Oh, pff, silly child. Silly little girl. That wasn't the deal." The way she says it to her. The deal was we would let Drathis stand, not that Mira would live. First thing to learn, we are careful with our words. Second, we lie.
Yeah.
Slices Mira's throat.
Yeah.
Oh. Then she throws a dagger at Jack. Why is that? That was weird. I was like, whoa, weird. Okay. Lodges into the chest, and then a wyvern picks her up, and they fly away. As everyone is running for Mira, Violet gets there first, obviously freaking out,
Yeah.
puts pressure on her neck. There's a lot of internal dialogue the whole time, and I know this is all probably 10 seconds,
Yeah.
right? But in the time it took, Violet there, thinking of everything that was going on before Brennan got there and told her to move, it seemed like 20 minutes.
It did. It was like, Brennan, come
I
on
was like, where the
already.
fuck is your brother?
Why is your brother so slow?
But he gets there, tells her to move, and he's like, you will live. You will live. You hear me? You will live.
Yeah.
Right as dragons and wyverns start fighting right above them. There's like tails flying,
Yeah.
and Xanon's putting up smoke to like block them from the fight of dragons. So you just hear like gnashes of like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm getting into it again.
Oh, God, not again.
Gnashes of teeth as they're like freaking out. They're sitting there. Xanon screams to Garrick to take the chest, take Jack.
Yeah.
Because obviously they want him dead. He knows something that they don't want us to know. Get him out of there. As that's going on, Violet sees Thort, a red dragon, that's Thort, Sloane's dragon, and another red, and it takes her a minute to realize it's Kath, who is Dane's dragon.
Yeah.
As Garrick's disappearing, so Bodhi is like, how much are we trusting Dane these days?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know if it's enough for him to see that shit. Or I think Xaden said that.
Yeah.
But they land, and they definitely saw Garrick's second signet as he went away.
Yeah.
Sloane gets there and says, Arik said you needed this, and hands a package to Violet.
Yeah.
And as they're there, she's like looking at her, and she's like, Brennan needs more power. His
face is drained.
He's
of
sweating.
color.
He's drained. Mira is losing color.
Yeah.
Rapidly losing color. Sloane is definitely nervous. She's like, I know transferring is way different than imbuing.
I don't know what to do.
Right away,
Yeah.
Dane is like taking his jacket off, and he's like, use me. I'm the only one who doesn't have to wield today. What am I going to use my signet for? This is going to be easier. Use my power. And he coaches her through the process. As she touches him, though,
Yeah.
to do this, she says, you should no, someone like you shouldn't have this much power.
Yeah.
I found that interesting because she could feel it's got to be like rivers,
Yeah.
right? But he tells her,
Well, and you can imagine that's probably feels like a very intimate thing because it
Oh,
probably
yeah.
feels something similar to when Xaden and Violet like feel each other's bond, like feel each
True.
other's power. That feels
to like
very
feel
intimate.
someone else's
Yeah.
like energy, essentially, right? He tells her though, he takes his jacket off, and there's the mark from when Jack
Yeah.
grabbed him. It's like
So it's a scar.
It's almost a scar, handprint on his arm.
A gray handprint.
And she's like, I don't want to do that. And he's like, you won't. You're not a weapon of destruction. You're not venom. You're an artery power chooses to flow through. Your life.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
If
that
he's
is
not in love with
very-
her, how are you not in love with him at this point? Like,
Yes.
holy crap, that's beautiful.
You turned it around, Dane.
She's like, I'm gonna hurt you. And he's like, Gods, do I know it? So again, another little piece that we're like, oh, they have this little enemies to lovers. There's this thing going on right now that it seems like they're trying to fight.
I'm excited for it.
I
I'm
am.
in.
I'm not
in
gonna
for
lie.
it.
I was like, Gods, do I know it? Okay, Dave.
Okay, Dane.
Okay.
You're not a snivelly little kid
but
anymore.
right after that, he's like, Gods, do I know it? But you're not gonna kill me. Okay,
Yeah,
do
you're
it.
good.
Let's
You're
go.
good.
It works. Dane tries to help Sloane up after, and she's like, "Fuck off, Atos."
Get out
He's
of
like,
here.
"Get back behind the wards." And as she's walking away, she flips him off. It's like, oh God. Brennan's response though, it's messy, but she's alive.
Yeah.
Mira's got this like he puts like water on it. It's like this really pink scar across her neck. We pan to Violet counting down. 1, she's alive. 2, I don't have to be in a world that she's not in, which is
Nope.
great because I couldn't do it. And 3, Brennan is a fucking miracle worker.
Yeah.
He's the shit, which I was honestly thinking the same thing. I'm like, Brennan's awesome.
Yeah. He's got a lot of power.
As Dane's going away, Violet's like, thank you. He's like, don't thank me. Just tell me how the hell Garrick and I don't know how to say his dragon's names. Chadra?
Shadra?
Don't thank me.
Chad.
Just tell me how Garrick and Chadra disappeared into thin air. As he's running
Yeah.
off, just tell me later how the
Yep.
fuck that happened. All right?
Catch me up, man.
As they're leaving, so Brennan's like, I have more energy than I need.
Yep.
Sloane gave me more. I'll take Mira. Violet notices that there's no mark on Brennan's neck and there's no mark on Dane's wrist. And I feel like she was referring to thinking there would be because of the rune on Brennan's hand.
Yeah.
Because they point out Brennan's hand again, like on his palm. So it's just more evidence, I think, for the future for us to put away that there's something that we don't know about that rune-shaped scar.
Yeah.
And that's not from Naolan trying to save him.
How is this not a conversation that they've had?
Agreed. Like, there are points when Violet's insanely smart.
Yeah.
And there are points when I'm like, how are you not picking up on this?
Yes.
Right?
Because I'm sorry.
She will, but...
If you faked your death and then I came and found you like 6 years later...
Yeah.
I would have a lot of questions about
a rune-shaped scar on your fucking palm.
Your scar on your palm, how you quote unquote died, what happened to the guy that I thought quote unquote saved you.
Right.
Like, why are these not conversations?
Why do we not know the story? How is Mira not asked?
Yeah.
She's
Mira
always
is
got
blunt AF.
Yeah, she's got Brennan's balls to the fire all the time. And you're not talking about like what the fuck happened to your friend?
Yeah.
I still hold very true that there is a theory that Brennan and Naolan were lovers.
Oh.
Which makes a lot of, like, sense.
This feels very Harry Potter, where it is Dumbledore and, what's his face? Griswold.
Griswold.
Do you not? Oh my gosh. I'm so embarrassed for you right now.
I'm an elder millennial, remember? Not a millennial.
Have you never seen like the prequel movies?
No.
Okay. We are having a Harry Potter-a-thon now. It's happening. We're going to start all the way at the beginning of the Newt ones.
Mystical World of Dragons?
Yeah, the creatures one.
That's the prequel to Harry Potter?
Yes.
What?
That's when Dumbledore was just a teacher.
Okay.
And he's played by Jude Law.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my reference was the shit, and now you have to watch that movie with me so that way you understand that reference.
I'm sorry I poo-pooed your reference.
No, for everybody out there who is listening and knows what the F I'm talking about, Nicole will, and she will agree with me shortly. Because I'm going to make you watch it tonight now.
Oh, no.
But that's a really good reference and might have something to do with theories later. And maybe they're lovers on either end of the spectrum. Right. And that's what Violet and Xaden are, lovers on either end of the Venom.
Right.
So Naolan might be there. A really powerful sage, or maybe it's that everybody's referencing.
What I am nervous about is if the rune has some sort of meaning that could have helped Xaden and Violet in their path, and Brennan is holding it as a secret. I'm going to be really upset if Brennan ends up being, like, bad. There's a lot of theories that he's, like, not good.
I mean, I will say he's got a lot of secrets that nobody knows about, but for some reason nobody seems to care. So Xaden has to leave for this plan that, again, we have no idea what this plan is, but we'll see it slowly unfold.
I feel like that's always a prequel to knowing it's going to be a good plan if they don't really, like, tell you the plan.
I feel like they should at least give you, like, some boundaries. Where are people?
You're not on the board, Marisa. You're not privy to that kind of information.
Okay, but excuse me, I am... The narrator is on the board, and she's not saying shit.
The narrator. She was, in fact, important in the story.
So, this, to me, is as important as the whole maps situation for you.
Fair.
In most fantasy battle things, it's kind of like, okay, here's the initial parts of the plan.
Yeah.
You go there. Your stage right. Your stage left. And then it's break. So that way, at least when they are referencing where people are, but as we're going through all of these battles and scenes, it's like takes you a while to click where are they supposed to be.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, like this might be a spoiler because it's in this episode, right? But it also leads to the confusion at the end with the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
On how can we make sense if people were in the wrong place or not.
Now they know it's a cliffhanger at the end.
Well, guys, it's going to suck for you when we get to the end. But Frankly, you should have done the pre-reading.
Or you don't have to, because we're just telling you everything that happens.
Or you're listening to this 2 years from now because the next book is coming out, and you're gonna laugh because you're like, oh, now I remember. Now I remember what they're talking
we're
about.
gonna be off grid in 2 years.
There won't be podcasts anymore.
We will be pulling everything down and hiding. I'm just kidding.
We're gonna be in the colonies in 2 years. I'm not of childbearing age anymore. So
I will erase anything that may haunt us in future
Incriminate you.
episodes. Okay. Anyway, so we have no idea what the plan is, but Xaden walks away to start doing the plan, and he says, concentrate. Only use Taryn's power. Do not turn. Do not die. Accomplish your mission, and I'll find you. So, very curt.
Well, and then Violet's
rules.
like, make sure you come back. And he's
I love
like,
you so much.
I just come back. And he's like, only ever to you. Only ever you.
Oh,
It's always you.
you're the one I love. You're the one that I want.
I would die for you. But I wouldn't. I would channel from the ground and
Yes.
fuck up our entire fucking lives in the process. Anyways, go on.
Okay. Well, I mean, he did save everyone. Think of it as he sacrificed.
I do love, though. So he leaves, and Bodhi goes, now that the Duke of Angst is gone, do you want to talk about the real problem? She's like, fuck, what's the real problem?
Yes. So the plan, the mini plan that we finally find out is that Theophany is definitely going to go to Violet, right?
Yeah.
And so she is pulling Theophany away. And Bodhi, who we know his signet is his ability to counteract signets. And so she will be able to not be able to wield as much magic and or powers.
Right.
And Violet will have finally the upper hand.
But first,
the
problem.
Okay. The first thing is Mira has to go. And so they actually fly her out. Brennan takes her.
Right.
But Tiny is actually knocked out. And Mira obviously is knocked out too from everything that happened. So Taryn is the only dragon big enough to actually carry Tiny.
Right.
And so
Garrick's too weak. He actually could, which I found impressive. That's the only reason I mentioned that, because she's like, can Garrick walk with something that big? He's like, normally yes, but he's been walking all over. He's too
drained.
Oh, which actually means you're right. The chest, he had to go get it and go get Jack. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So, and the crazy thing is, well, we knew that he could do that because he always travels with his dragon. So he has to walk with his dragon.
Oh, I guess that's true. Anyways.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So Garrick leaves and Taryn says, okay, fine. I'll save your sister's life because obviously if Theophany comes and Tiny can't defend herself, we know Tiny's a girl.
I think it's a her, yeah.
Then she's dead and Mira's dead, right? And so Taryn is like, do not leave this field. And she's like, fine. Okay, Dad, go do your job.
I will be wherever I'm needed.
And so now it's Violet and Bodhi alone on the field.
I do like Bodhi's like bold strategy to have our biggest war dragon leave and be out of the vicinity. Okay.
This seems silly, but what else?
You want to start hunting your chick? And she's like, we don't need to.
No, she's coming to us. And all of a sudden, boom, Theophany comes out and she's like, once in a century or so, we get a chance to skew the scales in our favor.
Yeah.
So it's like there's always a balance. And right now, Bodhi's like, I'm the balance. But in general, she's like, please turn. So that same recruiting message as last time.
Right.
Pretty please turn so I can look really good to this mysterious he.
She's a big villain monologuer.
Yes.
Like, there really is always a villain monologue, but I do feel like she's almost as much as Ianthe in Akatar. Ianthe was a big villain monologuer too, to their demise, in all honesty. Because this whole time, she's like taunting Bodhi and like, you know, aren't you sick of being the lesser of the two?
Yeah.
And da-da-da. And he's like, listen, chick, I don't even want this. We don't even have a
No.
crown. I don't even care about this
I don't-
shit. You're so wrong.
You do not understand
But
what motivates me at all.
She filled out monologues for a good 3 pages.
Yeah, which I like villain monologues a lot.
Well, we get a lot of info.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I will say she did too much taunting and not enough revealing of secrets for my taste.
That's fair.
Yeah. But anyway, during this whole villain monologue, you know, Violet is kind of feeling the air and like trying to like gather up through her conduit like the power a little bit. And as she's going through, Bodhi is supposed to counteract. And what we find out is Bodhi is trying and it's not working.
Well, he thinks it's working, though.
He's like, there's no lightning. There's no lightning. And in this time, she actually realizes that she is not a lightning wielder.
Right.
Violet is not her counterpart. It was her mom.
Right.
Her mom, the, I don't know, weather.
Storm wielder. Right. Right. And she was saying when she felt the humidity drop and she only felt that one other time. And
Yeah.
It was with her mom. So that's how she was putting it together.
Yeah.
And she's like, you can't counter her.
No.
Obviously, you can't counter her. And he's like, what? There's no lightning. And she's like, she's not the answer to me.
No.
You know,
you need to get out of here
my
right
mom.
now.
She was the answer to my mom. And Theophanie's like, she was the answer to me.
I am the powerful one, which is true. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
if I would say, oh my gosh, you remind me so much of Avery. You remind me so much of my oldest.
Well, at this point, we still don't know for sure that they are immortal. But this is another evidence that they obviously are, because Theophany obviously is younger than her mom.
Yeah.
Well, if you look past the pale skin, silver hair, and red veiny eyes all over the place. She's very pretty and young.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
So, yeah, another evidence that they're immortal of some kind.
Yeah. So,
Bodhi's she's trying to tell Bodhi to get the hell out.
Yeah. Bodhi, leave. This isn't working. So Bodhi actually is like, I'll never leave you. This is not what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden his dragon comes and just picks him up and is like, we gone.
Legit mid-sentence.
Yeah.
Like, I would not.
Oh, you're gone. Your dragon made that decision for you.
We're going to point out he's pissed right now.
Oh, yeah.
Again, he is taken away from a place he feels he should be. That it's his. You got to remember, Bodhi feels like this is his like calling.
Yeah.
To defend, and he's being pulled away because he's the heir.
Yeah.
And he needs to be safe.
Well, and
he's
also
pissed.
because his power doesn't work here. So he's not going to help her.
True story.
And she's the bait. She can't run.
Yeah.
So anyway, she's screwed. And she only has one of her daggers. Notice I'm really working on my verbiage here.
Anyway, she's screwed.
She's screwed. And she's got her dagger and she's like, okay, I got to remember not to throw this dagger because this is literally all I have.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even have her conduit because her conduit ended up breaking during all of the previous stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So she's just sitting there
sitting there.
You know.
As she's being taunted. Theophanie's like,
she's being
just
taunted.
channel. We can rule together.
Look it over there. There's a battle. And over there, there's a battle. And you're in a battle. Just wield and you can save them all. That's what she was doing.
Do you want to end the battle or do you like battle?
I feel like this would be a really good musical. This would Theophany would be very
like a
theatrical.
fight dance. We can't do the snap.
No, she would be more opera-esque, I feel like.
True. You get a battle and you get a battle.
And so she's taunting her and she's like, okay, Violet gets around and gets to a point where she's able to stab Theophany, and Theophany gets pretty frustrated, but isn't even phased by the knife, the alloy knife in her leg.
Right.
And so she's like, oh, shit.
Actually, she grabs Violet by the throat. She's like, bitch, that didn't work.
Yeah, you're stupid. I said, basically immortal.
Yeah.
And she even references, which is crazy, as she's choking her out, she's referencing your mother couldn't handle me at your age either. And so
not even at your age. Your mother stayed behind the boards.
She did reference her age. So
she did?
She said when your mother tried to fight me when she was your age, it sent her back behind the wards for the rest of her life.
Oh, I did not pick up on that. Ooh.
Yeah. So basically she called her mom a coward.
I
You don't
mean,
call General Mom a coward in
the
Violet's
shoe,
presence.
if the shoe fits.
She had 3 kids to care about.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Now this is where we get to see how smart Violet is.
yes.
Because she's like grabbing an arrow and making some sort of like
Yeah.
fucking
Go,
bomb
like,
while she's
behind
being
her back while she's being choked out.
I was trying to picture it, and then like you listen to it the second time around, and I remember trying to picture it, and then I listened to it again just randomly, and I'm like still trying to picture
Yeah, this
it.
is really tough, man.
I can't visualize how she's able to take her arrowhead made out of rock that explodes and combine it with something, didn't she? Like behind her back on a rock, and then throw the rock,
Yep.
and then the rock explodes.
Yeah. Well, and
Distracting.
meanwhile, Theophanie's like, you tried that before. It's not going to work again. And then it explodes, and Theophany like goes flying from the blast. It's like in your face. So she does learn from her mistakes.
Actually, Theophanie's baiting her.
Yes.
And others are dying. Look around. Everyone's dying. Isn't it killing you that you can't save them? And she's like, you're right. I can't be everywhere. But I don't have to be.
Boom. I can use my brain.
No. Boom. Go to my friend who's kicking ass.
So, ban to Ree.
Well,
And
end of chapter. Boom.
Yeah.
I don't have to be. Rihanna's point of view. Wait,
Yeah.
what?
yeah, Rhiannon's point of view.
Oh.
I don't know how Rihanna feels about this book, but we should totally ask her.
Umbrella, Ella.
Do you like this book? Riri, you make everything cooler.
She does.
Okay. One part of this was it was really tough because I feel like we were in the zone on one part and now we don't even know where Ree is.
I'll be honest with you. This chapter, I was frustrated by it because I do love Ree's voice.
Yes.
And I've wanted Ree's voice.
Yes.
I did not want it right now.
No. And I
And
have
it was
no
like
context.
2.5 pages.
Yes.
It was just showing Ree and her internal struggle with being
Yeah.
a leader, and Ferg and hers like little smartass, like kind of
Which
like Tarn and
I-
vibe, but not as aggressive.
I really liked seeing different dragons. So basically the overview of what's happening is she's like commanding the army.
Right.
But the cool thing is Ferg and Reese, their relationship is very like respectful almost.
Yeah.
Where Ferg actually like respects her decision. She's like, what are we doing next? And Reese figuring it out. And she's like, oh, I really respect the way that
Yeah.
your brain works and
Right.
stuff.
But they also make fun of each other, like
Oh,
Tarn
yeah.
and Violet do.
Oh, yeah.
As well. Yeah.
For sure. And we actually see a little bit of Riddick, and we know that Riddick like had frozen like at the inside of
orange.
the orange. So
Yeah.
we knew that he could hypothetically do it, but it was so cool because he like went upside down over a wyvern, and then all of a sudden like ice splurts out like
But even before that, he goes spine to spine
yeah.
with the wyvern. I just saw like the dragon version of Top Gun
Yeah.
as it was going.
Yeah.
And then did the whole
Yeah, I like ice comes out of his arm, and all of a sudden the wyvern just drops heavily
Yeah.
and breaks in half when it hits the mountain.
yes.
And this is the first
And
reference
reset
we
it
get.
like spread a lighter gray
Yeah.
within it, so you could like see the freeze.
So he
kind of
froze the wyvern from the inside out, which is crazy, but
Yeah.
it's also wow, he's very, very powerful. That is a
very common
signet, but
Yeah.
really cool. But another annoying part was, again, we didn't know the plan. So this is the first reference we get to understand that they are on the pass.
Yeah.
They are protecting the pass. So all
You're
the
right, this is the first
civilians
time.
fleeing.
Which led to the confusion.
Yes.
Until you just said that, I didn't realize that's where they were.
Exactly. So, yes. But basically, she definitely earned her leadership position. She is a
True.
strategic mastermind.
Yeah.
And on the fly. Like, Violet is very smart and she can connect larger strategy, but Ree is built for battle.
Well, and to lead a team.
Yes.
Right.
She is a natural born
So
leader.
in battle, leading the team. She's
Yes.
the Cassian, right?
Yeah.
The
So
symphony.
So in the scheme of like business, Ree is the I know what to
Director.
do. She's operations. She is like getting stuff done.
True.
And then Violet is like the inspirational head, chief transformational officer. It's like, I'm building the strategic vision for the future. You get us there, Ree.
I love it.
Okay. So now finally we get back to Violet.
Yeah.
And she's still with Theophany. And Theophany's like, which one are you going to choose? And so again, she's like, I don't have to choose. My friends got their stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of in reference to...
They'll keep fighting even if I'm not here.
When I die...
Do your worst is basically what she said.
They got this still. And so Theophany was like, I really don't want to kill you, but I can because, you know, another one will come around. And in her head, she's like, she said it's been over a century. Is she really going to wait over a century and just kill me? And Theophany, she actually says, I can wait that long. And if you're not going to turn, it doesn't matter to me because you're too big of a threat if you're not turned. And so she just starts drawing from the ground slowly and is like, okay, the only way to get out of this is for you to turn. Yeah. And she's like, if you just grab a little bit around your feet, just a little bit, like you can just have one little bump and you'll be okay. But she's like, then that will be like just a safe spot for you to be. But I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
And the whole time, you know, in her head, she's like, shit, she's kind of got a point. I'm kind of screwed. And she's feeling like Taran feels closer, but he's not close enough.
Yeah,
like,
she keeps trying to pull and he's still too far away.
He's still too far. And finally, like her worst nightmare, the reason she started jogging in the morning, she just starts booking it. And she uses her freaking brain and she leaps on top of a dead wyvern just as the like death circle is coming around her.
Yeah.
And the wyvern is already dead and desiccated. Yeah. So there was nothing to kill her.
Well, Theophany dropped that softball to her in her villain monologue.
Yeah.
Like she was like, do you know how that you can counteract this? Once magic has already been used, it can't be reused.
Gotcha.
And then when she kept going on other parts of the villain monologue, that's when Violet was putting it together, like you were saying. Like
exactly.
That's wyvern are already created. It's already magic that's been used. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
It'll
fingers
hopefully
crossed.
work.
Let me take this leap.
Yep.
Oh, I was right. Good job. All right, cool.
Yep. And then all of a sudden, right behind her, some claws grab her and she gets swung up and she's like, Taran's here. She's like, wait, that's not Taran. And it's Seagal.
Dude, Seagal. Can I just say what her quote is? You are an inconvenience for which there's no adequate measurement. Zing. But you've done an excellent job keeping the Maven occupied.
Yes.
Was that a compliment from Seagal? What?
It's like the old lady that's like, you're super annoying, but bless your heart, and
bless
like taps you on your head.
Bless your heart. And she's turning the wrong way. And that's when Violet's like, you can't leave him. You can't leave him. And she's like, which is why I'm leaving you. Drops her ass in the middle of a storm. And she can feel like Tarn like coming to grab her. But I just thought, Seagal, man, she's like going home to the Black Mama. Yeah. That's like, no, honey. No,
that's not how we do.
That's not, and you're not going to treat my baby boy that way. That's not what we're doing right now at all.
Yes. And so Taran, of course, like flips her back on his backside, which is so lucky that he's had so much practice doing this because she can't stay on him.
It's like they've done this before.
But she does say, okay, this is how we need to fight. This is what we should be doing. And she like locks herself into her little saddle. And Taran actually says something snipey to him too. He said,
the far side thing.
He said, no, I thought I told you to stay on the field. Yeah. And he's like, but I'm kind of glad you didn't.
I'm kind of glad you didn't. Yes.
But anyway, he uses his farsight and he actually lets her see it through his eyes, which again, this makes me think farsightedness is not a cool power.
Well, she kind of says, like, why do you guys give that as a signet if all of you can do it? And he's like, our gifts are only given to a few. Like, you should be lucky.
Oh, so Taran...
to get to see the way we see. Where Violet's like, if all of you can do this...
Yeah, why
the fuck are you giving it to us as a signet? That seems like a waste.
Yeah.
And he's like, or
Or
are we gifting you something that's every day
that
for
you
us
don't deserve.
that you don't really deserve? Or look at it this way, babe,
Babe, I am superior and I'll prove it to you. So,
But they see that she's way on the other side of the field
yes.
on that massive ass wyvern.
Yeah, a wyvern bigger than Coda. And the funny thing about it,
my best kill yet.
yes. But with this humongous wyvern, there are hundreds of wyvern.
Yes.
And Violet is like planning basically, okay, we're probably going to die. I should say my goodbyes. And this whole time, Taryn's like, shut the F up. We got to do this.
Yeah.
And so Violet's like, okay, focus. Again, we have one mission.
Right.
So it is kill everything on the way to Theophany, but we're not going to be able to take all those dragons out. That's
Right.
not our job. And unfortunately, Theophany is like right in the middle. So they have to go through a lot of wyvern.
Oopsie. I guess we
Oopsie
just killed a
doopsie.
bunch on our way.
Yeah. And again, this whole time, like Violet's contingency planning, assuming they're going to die. And Taryn is in her head saying, shut up, lady. We're
Stop
not dying.
Putting that vibe out there.
Yes.
God.
But so they go through. Okay.
Well,
so
she gathers the power.
yeah, so she's gathering the power and she gets ready and she unleashes it and she like kills. There's 10 bolts and like 7 wyvern killed and then 5 wyvern killed and then 4 wyvern killed.
I do love how like Tarn's counting it
Yeah.
down in her head. He's like, it's 6, it's 8,
Yeah,
and look at
we're
you.
awesome. But I counted all of the ones that they called out. It's like about 90 kills and there are hundreds.
Yeah.
So she's killing it and she's very powerful.
Yeah.
But they are overwhelmed.
Not really making a dent.
No.
Yeah.
No. But she is really looking good.
I do like too how Tarn's like, that's enough. No more power. Shut it off. Take a drink
Shut
of
it
water.
off.
Drink the water, and then you get more power.
You are blocked from the power.
Okay, you good now? Let's go.
Yeah. And so Theophany actually starts a tornado. And this actually
wouldn't that
was
be cool to like? Actually, I want you over here. Tornado. Boom.
Ooh, it feels like Mario, like
Yes.
Mario Party.
Woohoo!
That's a big. Okay, so we will play Mario Party
Oh, Mario
while we
Party.
watch all the Harry Potter prequels tonight. That is our plan
I
now.
think you have way overestimated my ADHD.
We can like bead
You might be
bracelets
able to
while
do
we're
that.
doing that. If that's not enough stimuli for you.
No, too much. Too much.
Oh, I swing the other
Do
way.
you know I saw a guy do a video explaining ADHD, and he was like, it's not that, because people were talking about how they couldn't understand how sometimes you could be super focused on something,
Yeah.
but then other times you couldn't.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's processing power.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing an activity that only takes about 60% of my processing power, then I need something else to take up the other 40. So the TV on, music going, me on my phone too, something
Yeah.
like that to take it all up. But if I'm doing something that's really challenging and it's taking 90% of my processing power, I need absolute silence.
Yeah.
Don't even breathe near
Nope.
me. Did you just open a bag of chips 2 rooms away? Fuck you. Why'd you
Yeah.
do that? And I was like, what a great way to explain how sometimes I have to have complete fucking silence.
Yeah.
Nobody talk. And other times I need 3 things going on at the
Yeah.
same time. And it's processing power.
I mean, I see
Isn't that
it.
perfect?
Well, and I was talking to my friend. I was talking to my friend this other day, and we were talking about like I was like, I think I have ADD. And she's like, well, no, because growing up, like I was not the hyperactive jump around person
No.
at all. I got pretty good grades, but
It's when-
every morning before school, I was copying somebody's homework out in the hallway right in front of all the teachers. And she was like, you were just so bold. And I was like, I wasn't bold. I was oblivious.
Yeah.
I was
Bold.
oblivious.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's probably the hyper focus. Like Marissa's in her ditzy world. It wasn't ditziness. It was literally like,
Yeah.
I need to copy this homework quick because I forgot to write it down yesterday
Yeah.
because I was multitasking times 5
It's
while I
not
was supposed to
that I
be filling
don't
out
know
my
the
assignment
answers.
notebook.
It's
no,
just that
I ran out of time.
Yeah.
I procrastinated. I got overwhelmed with the fact that I forgot to write everything down. Like it's a whole thing. And then that morning, morning, 10 minutes before school starts, I need to copy it real quick.
I love how you're like, I think I have ADHD.
Well, I've never been officially diagnosed. And I feel like the vibe is, oh, all these adults think they have ADHD and
No.
they don't. They're just down like
I'll
that
take
algorithm, whatever
Where
it is.
if you got on ADHD,
I'm old enough that I should have this figured out.
well, but I think you've also figured out
I figured out enough.
yourself.
Yes.
Like, you know. So it's not as much of a problem, but I think it would have been interesting to take a hot tub time machine and put you on ADHD meds.
Dude, I would have been
in
done
high school.
so much better in college.
I think a lot of things in your life would have been different.
Oh.
Your life's pretty awesome.
Well, I will
And
say,
our troubles do make us ourselves, right?
Yes.
So good thing you survived those troubles.
Well,
trauma makes you funny. That's why we have this podcast.
I mean, it does make you more interesting.
It totally does.
You have to persevere against something. And our kids just have to persevere against.
That's why they're lame.
I'm going to definitely take that out.
We are so much more interesting.
I will say my daughter is definitely cooler than me.
Which one?
Both of them. Both of them. My oldest is funnier.
I almost sent you this. But I had already texted you 5 times that day with no response.
It was too overwhelming. We've been over this.
But I did come across a reel, and it was like when you're the first daughter, first niece, first granddaughter, and it's like, dun, 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 and you come into the family gathering like, hi guys.
I actually had a conversation with her, and I was doing my whole, and I've done this spiel with pretty much everybody in my life, but it's kind of like everybody has their cross to bear.
Yeah.
It sucks being the oldest. It sucks being the middle. It sucks being the only boy. It sucks being the youngest. Like, everybody has that, and there's pluses and minuses to both.
Right.
And so one of the examples for my oldest of, I mean, sometimes it sucks being the oldest because you have to be the first to do everything. And I legitimately thought of it from my perspective of I would hate, in mine and your life, the only thing I've ever done before you is have a child.
Right.
And I remember being scared.
And even that, I had been pregnant before you. I just miscarried.
Yeah. You know? And I remember being scared shitless of I'm not going to just be able to copy Nicole. Our weddings, I was not in, there were 3 things I cared about for the wedding. Everything else, I'm I don't really care.
Yeah, we had it at the same venue.
Yeah.
We used the
so
same
I was
photographer.
just oh, they did a great job for Nicole. Sign me up.
Granted, it was the summer after mine.
It was, but you did all the work, and I was able to copy it.
Yeah.
Just like my homework, evidently.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I ever followed anything until I followed you being a mom and oh, we should join this group. Oh, okay. Oh, this is where we can get the deal on this.
And it
okay.
sucked for me to have to figure all that out. I hated it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I said, see, that's something and she's like, I love being the first at everything. And I was like, that is a different personality.
If I wasn't the first one to do it, my skin would be crawling the whole time watching you do it.
Yeah. Was
I'd
that our
do I have to watch her fail? Do I have to watch her fuck this up?
Yeah.
First, let me do it, please.
Well, the whole time I was like, why the fuck I'm about to fuck this up?
Who
did this before me? So that way I can see a model. Is it
chicken or the egg though?
Yeah.
Do I feel that way because I'm the first one that had to do everything, so I'm confident because my whole life I've been doing it first?
Oh, it's definitely a learned behavior of growing up.
That's my personality and I'm perfect for the role too.
I do think certain areas of your personality have to be leveraged and skilled much younger.
Yeah.
Based on your cycle. My youngest has the best imagination ever, but it was also because we were in COVID and situationally we were all busy and she had to play with herself for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think there are this whole first children do X, second children generally do Y.
Right.
That is based off of situationally, you just get different experiences being the firstborn.
Right.
Versus the second, where I understand as a parent, I understand what's happening.
Yeah, and your personality does alter some of those a little bit. A lot of the firstborn stereotypes are they don't break rules, and I feel like I broke all rules.
You broke all the rules.
Right, but there's also first daughter too, child, that they're fuck the patriarchy, bring it down. Like, they're
That's not you at all.
I've never uttered those words. I don't
You
have a
just have a
flag
lot
in
of
my front
t-shirts.
yard. I don't have a flag right now in my front yard that says, don't tread on my body with a snake in the shape of a uterus.
No, that was sarcasm. She does.
That's
Just in case you couldn't read the sarcasm through the
you
microphone.
couldn't read the too much description. Wow,
I will
tangent.
say
Okay.
you do a very good job with the commentary you have with your t-shirts.
I just wear it now, so I don't have to say it.
Yeah, exactly. You know my vibe just by looking at me. So again,
That's why, like, when people in our community are like, "Do you catch any like flack for like your opinion, like saying it?" There's a lot of people that live here that don't agree. And I'm like, probably. I just don't know about it.
Nor do I
my
care.
opinion's out online. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Like I was telling one of our mutual friends, I'm like, it's actually perfect because how I feel is out there.
Yeah.
So they just don't approach me.
Yeah. And you don't care if they're talking shit.
No. It's actually wonderful because I'm not from here. So I don't know anybody anyway. I only know the people who approach me who all think like I do.
See, my sweet spot is nobody knows who I am and I just kind of slide in the back.
Yeah. You do that.
I do.
We could run this town.
I don't want to run any towns.
I don't really want to either, actually.
I want to help people, but anonymously.
We'll just be those sisters that aren't from here. Those ones?
Non-white in a fairly white community, that feels very racist what you just said.
Being what?
Oh, those sisters?
We're white. No one knows.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
We're incognito, kind of not white people.
We're one of those non-white people that everybody looks at us like, what are you?
Oh, yeah. I think me and you were the only two that heard that growing up.
Our younger siblings didn't hear it because they found out through us. Like the community
'cause
was like,
let's keep
oh,
it real.
those weird looking kids.
You keep it real. They don't look Asian at all. Our two younger siblings,
I think especially as they get older.
growing up especially, they both be white kids. And then I was Mexican. You were Asian. All right, cut all this out.
Okay.
We got to move on.
Okay. So Taryn tells Theophany starts this huge tornado, and Taryn tells like all the dragons, you have to get on the ground. You're gonna, from my experience with tornadoes created by this lady, you get knocked out and then you may die.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Which, by the way, this is another dot that she didn't connect. How did Theophany do the tornado last time? She should have known she was a weather wielder.
She didn't put the tornado and her together. Which, again, a reoccurring theme in this book was, when did Violet become stupid?
She must have gotten concussed in the last
D,
book.
The D made her stupid. So, all you young ladies out there,
What we've learned.
just steer clear of the D. It turns your brain to mush. Violet, this is what? Time number at least 12, where you're like, I thought she was smart. She got a little stupid in this book. Okay.
No, I'm going to say she got concussed last book. We'll just say that.
Let's
She's
say,
a little cloudy.
Listen, we're old, so we can say it's her age. It's inexperience. And now she has achieved the experience, so I would expect your smarts to go farther.
Perfect. So while the tornado goes, they're all on the ground and they actually see Mulvik. So Arik, we know, flew away from the fight, but he comes back, and he actually comes back to help save the city with all of the soldiers that were promised from that lucky island.
Zahila or whatever.
Yeah,
Where
Zelina.
they went to the wrong port.
Yep. So they're a little bit behind, but they're on their way. And so now the city has a fighting chance.
I didn't realize the spare was a thing.
Yeah.
Like
The air in the spare.
Prince Harry's book, I thought it was like like kind of off-putting comment that his dad made. But Tarn was like, the spare brings the advance party from
so this tells me I haven't made you watch enough English
century
monarch historical fiction.
Yeah.
We can watch all the Tudors. We can watch the other Boleyn girl sister. We can watch. I've got a whole list for you. This is
Thank
like
you.
90% of what I watch. Well, no, actually, I would say it's 50-50. I either watch British historical fiction or really disturbing criminology documentaries.
CSI.
Yes.
Versus seen every
No,
episode of CSI in every city.
It's not the drama. It's not the CSI.
Dun, dun,
It's
dun.
the legitimate, like, investigation discovery, like, sisters who kill. And it's like a series where they just do sisters who've murdered people and the story of that crime. It's like
It's all sisters?
well, that whole show is. But then there's another one that's like killer lovers.
Is this your way of telling me you want to go on a killing spree with me?
No, this is
Okay.
the opposite of it.
No.
I've told you multiple times, if you kill somebody, I love you. I will sit behind you in the trial because I am not burying a person or getting you out of murder.
I'll kill for you.
Okay.
This is not legally binding.
No, I don't want you to kill for me. I want no murders.
I feel like we're that in that couples movie with Vince Vaughn and the one guy where he's like, okay, yeah.
It's like, no.
No, you don't know about it. He's like, no, I don't want you to do anything. Okay. Yeah, you're right. It's better if you don't know. No, I really don't want you to hurt anybody. You're right. Why would I hurt anybody?
John Favreau.
Right. You're right. It's better if you don't know. Don't worry about it. I got you. All right. So, pan to another point of view. Random.
Yes.
Imogen's point of view. Which, I'm not going to lie, I did like Imogen's point of view in this story.
And again, it was really cool to see how the interactions were different between.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. Well, in the interactions with their dragons. Like, we saw it, but we didn't hear the inner dialogue.
Yeah.
And now, at least with Ree and Imogen, we get to see the inner dialogue, which matches.
Yeah.
So, like we said, how Ree and Ferg...
Fair. Sure, close enough. Just stop. Just move on.
Are you gonna cut this out? Imogen and Glenn, right? Mm-hmm. Imogen and Glenn are also very, very similar.
Yes.
It was cracking me up. So it starts with Glenn is like climbing a steep rate because they know Bodhi's in trouble. And Imogen starts with this whole, fuck this, fuck that, fuck them, fuck everybody. And I'm like, that's right, Imogen! Fuck them all! And then she's like, where the fuck is Ryerson been? I haven't seen him in 20 minutes. I
have to do everything around here.
So I think it was the first episode of this book that I said I probably...
The first book in this series, not the first episode of this book.
No, the first episode of Onyx Storm. We just listened to it. And I said in that episode, I think it was that episode that I said I actually resonate more with like Imogen or Kat in the discussions.
Yeah, for
this
sure.
rant from Imogen where she was like, you know what, fuck the patriarchy, fuck them all. I was like, that's right, my girl. That's why you got pink hair.
I completely agree.
Go. Glenn, as they're going, feels Kerr's pain, which is Bodhi's dragon. So Glenn is doing like these crazy ass maneuvers that seem when you're explaining them to be probably normal, but they're like, it just shows how Imogen is like super, super strong and how she can even hold on. It's like these 360s and going up and down. And the whole time Glenn is like keeping count of her kills. She's like 13 and 14.
Yeah. Well, and Imogen's like, nope, that one didn't count.
What did she say? At one point she said, that wasn't yours. And she's like, I injured it. And she's like, what? Okay. Then I get the count for that one because I injured that one before you were able to. They're arguing over that
Hold
kill.
on, we have to figure this out. You
What?
just handed me an empty bag. Where's
It's
the
right
weed?
here.
Emergency! I'm on weed duty. Can I point something out real quick while you're collecting your thoughts? No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, so it's interesting because Taryn to Violet is very father-daughter almost. Or almost like grandpa-daughter, like granddaughter.
Yeah.
Like with
Boomer and Gen Z.
With how they communicate. It's respectful. They give each other shit
Well,
when
they
shit
have the
needs to
same
be
amount
good.
of angst.
Yes.
And like attitudes. That's why I say Boomer and Gen Z.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say that Fair and Ree, it is, they give each other shit, but it is very respectful in the fact that Ree is almost the boss.
Yeah.
And Fair is like looking to her to make some of these decisions.
Yeah.
And then Imogen and Glaine is so funny. I wrote down Glaine runs shit and gives shit. Like of all of the dragon's internal thoughts that we've seen thus far, Glaine is like, I make the decisions here.
I do what I want, bitch.
I'll grab you and take you wherever I want you.
Well, and she was even like, I think Imogen like complained about something. And she's like, you give me a warning. And she's like, did you die? Okay. I chose right. Shut up.
Yeah. I didn't.
Moving on.
I didn't bond with a whiny bitch.
I think that's exactly what she said. I didn't bond with a whiner. So they come up. They see Kerr has 2 wyvern on him. When Glaine gets there, Imogen runs up Glaine right as Bluefire like engulfs where she was sitting before. She's like, "Oh, good thing I moved. All right." Plunges her sword in one of the wyvern's eyes.
Ugh.
Glaine's like, I can't believe you haven't like done anything about that yet, about her and Garrick. And she's like, all right, stop right now and we'll agree that your kill count is 18.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
I will concede if you stop talking about my crush.
Yeah.
He might overhear.
So when they get done helping
Kerr.
They get done helping Kerr and Bodhi. Imogen sees 2 dark wielders heading towards the turret where Quinn is supposed to be. And she says this is the only person she truly loves. Mm-hmm. She doesn't know that they're coming. She can't know. So Imogen dismounts and she hears Dane land and dismount behind her. And she's like, oh, looks like Atos is breaking rules too. We're not supposed to be here right now, but he's helping as well. So they get down there. She can see Quinn projecting back and forth and to disassociate these venom. They run up on some venom. One turns to release fire and Imogen in a split second. Again, it felt like it was 20 minutes.
Yeah.
She's like, I didn't want to have to do this. All right. She grabs Dane's shield as he starts to say, get behind me. And he's like, get behind. And she's like, me! And puts the shield down as the fire hits. She ramps up her power. I like how she says she opens the doors to her childhood home.
Yes.
Because we hear Violet say, I open the doors to the archives.
Yes.
We hear, I think it was Liam who said he like stamped his foot in the like prairie or whatever.
Yeah.
This one place that they were in the glen or whatever.
Isn't Xaden on a hill in Terrandor?
Something like that. Like some sort of overlook that overlook that he goes to all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So getting those little glimpses opens the door to her childhood home, ramps up her power. The shield turns to stone all around them, surrounding them as the fire roars. So we see Imogen's second signet, which has to be stone wielding. I highly doubt that's what it's called.
Yeah. Well, I really want to know the story because I would have totally have stone wielding as my primary that everybody else sees.
It seems like it would be like the more common one.
The easier one to like hide, like the easier one to hide is the erase people's memories.
Right.
And it's easier also to navigate things if nobody knows that their memories.
We do know though that Xaden, the memory stuff, it might be when they are exposed.
So it's like which one comes up
so
first.
Maybe it came up first. Maybe that is the story.
Yeah.
That's the only story that I would buy though. Yeah. As to why you would hide
otherwise,
the stone.
because then she never gets to do it.
She's just hiding the second signet, basically.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a bigger strategy though. Like for her, it had to be a stronger one. Otherwise, it'd be too many comment. I don't know.
Well, and if both of the signets were okay, why is it a big deal?
One is also touching on the intrinsic. Right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm so confused as like, why is Varish's and Imogen's and Dane's okay,
but
Xaden's who just reads intention isn't.
Right.
He did like
Ark's screwed.
Yeah, he's probably scared.
He better manifest the second signet.
Yeah,
something's gonna happen with that in the 4th book. Shit. That's got to be a big deal.
I really like Arik.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Dave, God damn it, Dave. Dane dives, throws a dagger, hits one of the dark wielders, sees another, and Dane goes after that one. As he's running off, he's like, hey, we're going to talk about that fucking shit later. FYI, how you did that stone thing. So it's the second time today that he's witnessed the second signet from one of the marked kids. And he's like, we're going to talk about that later. We're going to talk about that later, okay? Imogen starts running into where Quinn is. Runs into a family that's coming out. And she's like, we don't know where to go. There's two women. We don't. She's like, go west. Run. Go that way. Go that way. She goes into the cave. This is when she sees Quinn flashing around, disorienting the other Venom. And she's like, she's probably way far away. She's probably not even here, right?
Yeah.
She's probably just messing with them. She sees one of the projections inching closer to the Venom, so that's probably actually Quinn. Mm-hmm. They both throw a dagger at the same time. They both hit him. Imogen's like, yeah, got him, woohoo! And turns around. Quinn's got a blade directly through her heart. Right through the center of her heart. Quinn keeps asking, like she goes to fall. It's like Imogen grabs her right before she lands into her. And Quinn goes, did they make it? Did they make it? Did I get them out? Did I get them out? And she realizes that she's like talking about the family that she ran into on the way there. And she's like, yeah, you got them out. You got them out. Imogen's like frantically trying to think of different ways, reaches out to Glenn, like contact somebody. And Glenn just is like, I'm sorry. And that's right when Quinn tells her, I'm not gonna. There's no helping me.
There's no
right?
helping me.
Tell Jax I love her. She's the best part of my life. She tells her dragon, you are my life, not the best part of it, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I love you too. And then she tells her, I'm glad it's you with me. Parapet to Malak's own doorstep. I'm sorry I have to go first this time. You should tell him. You should find some happy. She's like giving all of these declarations. Like, tell Garrick you love him.
Tell my parents it was worth.
Quinn then starts to tell her that she's scared. And Imogen like puts a smile on her face. And she's like, don't be scared. My mom and sister are there because her mom and sister were executed. We actually got her mom's excerpt at the beginning of this chapter, how they do those monologues or whatever, how her mom was basically like, fuck you, we'll meet Malik the way we are.
I will say those little preclude things, that's the best part of rereading it. I love, like, because it's got so many Easter eggs that you have zero context to.
You don't even think about them. But they are foreshadowing for every chapter.
Yeah.
And it is literally her, and it's her mom basically saying, fuck you, me and my daughters will meet Malik with Grace. Can you say the same thing?
Yeah.
And you could tell it's right before she's executed.
Yeah.
And Imogen brings it up to Quinn right now. My mom and sisters will take care of you. I talk about you. They'll know who you are. And Quinn's like, they'll know who I am. Okay. And Quinn just looks at her and says, we made it a good one. And Imogen flashes to Quinn going, hi, I'm Quinn Hollis. I've decided we should be friends. And Imogen's like, we're about to like go across the walkway of death here. And she's like, yeah, it might be a short friendship. We'll make it a good one.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie. I was crying when I read this. And I don't even fucking know who Quinn is.
Yeah.
And I instantly was a little fucking annoyed that this wasn't more impactful, because there was every opportunity for us to get to know Quinn better in the last 3 books to make this the best scene ever. This was Liam Worthy written.
Yes, but we weren't.
But I wasn't connected to Quinn.
Yeah.
So I was a little fucking annoyed that my heart wasn't shattered enough. Apparently that's what I'm bitching about right now.
Well, and it would have been so easy because Imogen has always known, and then Quinn found out, remember?
Yeah.
And so it's like, why hasn't she been like on watch
That
too?
was a great time to bring her in a little bit more as well.
There was opportunity.
There was.
And we didn't even really know much about Quinn and Jax's relationship.
I think in Iron Flame, we thought Quinn was a man.
Yeah, there was like a good half a book where we thought Quinn was a dude.
I think it was a book and a half. I think it was Iron Flame when we had this discussion where I was like, wait, Quinn's a girl? Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought Quinn was a guy.
Yeah.
Or I thought Quinn was a girl and you were like, no, Quinn's a guy. It was one of those two.
And I think AI actually said Quinn's
corrected
a guy.
Us. Yeah.
No, Quinn.
I think you're right.
And then it was me listening to the audio where it's like, oh no, Quinn's a girl.
Quinn's a girl. Jesus. Rebecca, I wanted my heart shattered. Okay, shattered. No. So essentially, the color starts to drain from the stones on the floor as Imogen is like basically sobbing. Right? She hears Garrick. where are you? Where are you? Quinn, we gotta go. We gotta go. Gets there, sees Imogen, and is like, oh, fuck, basically. And then he's like, I'm sorry, but we have to go. The Venom have their hands on the city walls, and they're draining the stone. And she's seen all the stone draining. She even said, I think Quinn took the color with her because it's just so bad.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not leaving her. And Garrick's like, I'm not leaving you.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was really sweet. He like cupped her back of her neck, and he's like, I'm not leaving you. And she's like, I didn't even care that he was seeing me at my worst because he was at his worst too. She noticed how tired he was.
So tired.
In such dark circles. Which is like, you guys have known each other for how long and you're still trying to pretend like you're tough shit in front of each other? I was a little annoyed about that too. Not going to lie. This was supposed to be heart-wrenching and I was in annoyed mode at this point reading it,
because you were already annoyed about Quinn. Yeah. I thought this was amazing.
It was.
I really liked Garrick.
That's my point. This entire scene was amazingly written to the point it made me cry about someone I didn't even fucking know. So I was annoyed that it wasn't even more impactful, and I was riding that slight annoyed feeling when Garrick came in, and I didn't get to fully appreciate it.
Yes, but it was the second time around.
It was
Rebecca,
beautiful.
Kudos. And just a little more backstory.
Yeah. He picks up Quinn. He's like, I'll take her. Flashes them to a place where she smells like sulfur. There's rain falling.
Yeah.
Fucking chaos is essentially what she ends up seeing. Tressa.
Yeah.
Instantly is like, oh my gosh. Felix is there. Garrick asks Tressa, are you weaving? And she's like, we started. Which I didn't understand what that was. Are they talking about weapons, like imbuing weapons and stuff? Or is that like
weaving, I thought, like doing runes.
Right.
So I just pictured that as like strengthening shields, something around like protection.
Okay.
Because he like...
I just wrote it down because it was another one of those like confusing things that I'm like, does this mean something or does this mean nothing?
I took it as like weaving being like runes. Like, because remember how it's always like weaving knots?
Right. Garrick starts to walk out. She's like, where are you going? What are you doing? He's like, I can't walk anymore. And people are screaming and people are dying. I better find some way to fucking do something.
Yeah.
So he walks out. Imogen walks out. This is where she sees the chaos. She sees a dragon injured. She doesn't say whose dragon. Yeah. She sees Bodhi retching. When they say retching, what do you think of?
Throwing up.
Me too.
Yeah.
Other people think that means he was pulling from the ground. I'm like, Imogen would have said he was pulling from the ground.
Yeah.
He was throwing up.
Yeah.
So to me, something was so bad. So I do want to point out the fact that when Bodhi left us, he was pulled away. He was mad. Violet also then saw him in the battle somewhere where he wasn't supposed to be. We don't really know where he's supposed to be because, as you said, we have no plan.
Yeah.
And now we see him. His dragon was in a compromised situation. I think the injured dragon is his dragon.
Yeah.
Right? And now he's throwing up. So something big has been fucking happening to Bodhi, and we don't know anything about it.
So Violet's narration, which is much easier to follow. I wasn't used to how Imogen spoke.
Agreed.
But anyway.
Well, there is something to be said, too, that when we pan from Violet's one mission to Ree, who's defending the pass.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Yeah.
To Imogen, chaos.
In the city.
Like,
chaos.
They're fighting. They're in the war.
Yeah.
So it does make sense that it was up in the air for us so that we could feel the chaos that they were feeling.
Yeah.
So I'll give it that, But the fact that I didn't even realize where Ree was until you just said that, and I've listened to it 3 fucking times.
Well, and the irritation, not irritating. I wish we would have even expanded on the plan to the point where we don't even know what Quinn was doing in the city.
Right.
We know that it's a city because they said that she's at the top of a turret and you're running in the streets, right? But we didn't know what the strategy was to evacuate people, how her signet is being utilized.
That better be chapter fucking 1 of what? What's the next book going to be? Start with white.
I don't know.
Storm.
Oh, maybe like something. Ice or something.
Oh, it probably will be something with ice. Because Zayden's ice.
Yeah, because he keeps...
Chapter 1. I don't even care. Unnamed book.
Violet is still with Theophany, and a tornado actually pulls Taryn and Violet back to her. And Violet's conduit shatters.
But now it shatters because of overuse.
Yes.
So she just starts to channel the power a little bit and it just like whoosh.
Yep. So she's like, okay, I have 0 accuracy. Now I'm going to have to kill her with volume. Right. And so she just like starts taking it. And what Theophany does is actually notices that and pulls down her signet of like wielding and made it really like beautiful outside.
Yeah.
Because that made it harder. And so Violet feels like she's burning out like faster than she normally would. They hear Seagal like in the brain, or Taryn. She hears Taryn like roar, like worried about Seagal. And so they know something happens with Seagal. She, of course, in her brain, like she always does, is like, oh, should we go save them? And like gets distracted, and it ends up that they actually get caught in a net. Yeah. And so they're describing them falling and getting stuck. During this whole thing, Violet's arm actually breaks while they're hitting rocks and stuff.
Well, she tells Tarn it was weighted.
Yeah.
She's like, pull in your wings, or they're going to break.
They're going to break.
And as soon as he pulled in their wings, they started plummeting, right? Yeah. And so they hit the rocks, and her arm breaks on that impact, but it slows them down enough that they don't die from just falling out of the sky. As she's like in the tornado, right, going to Theophany, Violet's inner dialogue she was like competing with her in her head, right? She's like, she's a maven. I'm a cadet. She wields fucking tornadoes, and I need a damn conduit to even control.
Shut up?
Tarn's like, so will you stop? Like, now that we're gonna be defeated, can you like get motivated and do this? And she gets to Theophany, and the first thing that happens is her conduit shatters.
She's like, crud.
Right, yeah.
So Theophany. So they're in the net, and Violet actually uses a rune to like soften the fibers of the net and stuff to try to get them out.
I thought of Tessa in the class when she's like, it'll do in a pinch.
And it did. It for sure did.
It did. That's what I thought in my head. I'm like, it did it in a pinch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Violet finally looks at this package from Auric.
Well, the whole time she's like, something's jabbing in my damn side. The whole time going down.
Ever since that package, ever since Mira went away, I've been like, open the package. Well, like, you have to open the package. When she got it, she's like, why is Auric having Sloan bring me his mail? Yeah. I was like, dude.
When did you get stupid?
Open the package. So literally this whole time I was like, maybe the package would have helped. With every single point of Violet this whole time, I'm like, I wish you would have looked at the package for this.
And everything has told us before now that she respects Auric's intelligence.
Yes. Frankly, she should have already put it together.
Why are you stupid in this book? The D.
Again,
the
concussion.
D.
No, the C. The concussion.
The cunt?
No, I hate that word.
Let's say it at the
same
same time.
Uncomfortable.
I'm not going to say What's the C?
I'm not going to say it.
1, 2, 3. The cunt.
Concussion.
The cunt.
No.
I'm glad we agree.
No. Concussion. She got a very bad concussion.
She got stupid.
Okay, so let's get back to war.
Auric's package.
Yes, she finally opens it, and Auric gives her a rock.
It's a nice rock.
And
it's a piece
dagger.
Of marble. It's a marble dagger.
Okay.
I'm glad you didn't say knife, though. Good job,
What
though. It was a marble dagger.
Okay, I thought there was a rock and a dagger. But okay, I'm on board.
It was a marble hilted
So it's a
dagger.
marble hilted dagger.
Yeah.
And there's a piece of paper in there. And it's from the high priestess of the Dune Temple of Orisha.
Yes.
And it says, a gift from one servant to another. Only those touched by gods should wield their wrath.
Which this was the note to Auric. Yeah. Right? And it was like, basically, I'll pray for her that she still chooses the right path. Yeah. I thought that was interesting that those who wield, so that's talking to Violet.
Yeah.
Right? But before that, on the dagger was a note from Auric. So that was the note from the priestess to Auric. A note from Auric said, for when you lose yours, strike in the dark. What the fuck does that mean? She don't know.
Be more specific. You had 2 full sentences. It couldn't have been that much of a rush that you could only use those like 8 words.
Right, right. So meanwhile, Tarn's still trying to get out of his net, right?
Yeah.
Like he's almost out of it, but he's still trying to get out. And who appears?
Theophany. And she
Of
says,
course she does. She is always. I think Violet says at this point.
Yeah.
She is always there.
Yes.
She's always there.
But she's also a walker bee person.
What do you mean?
She also she's a Garrett.
I don't know if she was or if one of the other wielders with her were.
I always thought it was just her. I think she has both.
We'll see. We'll see, because if there's the other walker, like, yeah. Well, I don't want to say it now. I don't want to say it now, but
well, anyway,
we'll find out.
We'll find out. And she's just like, man, it was so easy to capture you guys, and
the pair of them.
We have the other guys too, meaning Seagal is captured also.
That's what made her go, oh, Seagal too. You didn't think the cry of agony? I need to stop bitching about Violet. But the cry of agony came from Seagal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But to be fair to her, Taryn was like, focus, lady.
She can handle her own. He did say that. He did say that.
Which I respect.
Yeah.
But anyway, Theophany is pretty much just trying to burn out Violet. She is 10 times faster than Violet can wield, and Violet is like trying to, and she's so far behind.
I kind of saw like Coyote and Roadrunner.
Like, it was
and
for somebody that usually is more strategic, it was not very strategic.
I will say though, Felix should be proud of her because she was pretty freaking accurate without a conduit.
That's true.
Because it was talking about how Theophany was in mid-sentence and she would strike and she would be gone right in that word.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be faster. And so that's what I was thinking the whole time, that she's getting really
pretty good.
She would have been on the mark for anybody else.
Yeah, so, especially she's already feeling
maybe she don't need a conduit anymore. Maybe that's why it shattered.
Ooh. Or
release yourself.
That's actually the first thing I thought when she opened the envelope, like, okay, thank God she's got another conduit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then I was
like,
that. Darn it.
That would have been nice.
Such a man, just giving her a knife.
A rock?
A rock knife?
A rock
Why
knife?
would they do a rock knife?
That don't even make no sense.
Okay, so all of a sudden, she like finally is like, I've got to be smarter than this. Let me throw her off her game.
Yeah.
And she says,
do you miss Umbriel?
And she's like,
wait, what?
How'd you know that?
And then she counters her. She's like, are you not immune because you were only touched, not dedicated? Do you not yearn for the temple?
Yeah. Which is very interesting. This means that Theophany still feels a connection to the temple.
Oh, yeah.
Even though she's shattered and lost her soul.
Well, she was like, do you understand the pain that I can never go back because it would take everything that I've built over all of these years?
Yeah. It actually gave me hope, though, that okay, if she can keep a piece of her soul connected because of that, maybe there is hope for Xaden. Because
there was
even
still
though
that
she's
connection.
all the way Venom.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
She's a maven.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. You're right, though. There is still a piece of her soul that is not fully venom for her to even be affected
because
by this.
Because she's so still upset about Dune.
Yeah. I did find it
care.
interesting, like the end when Violet's like, why? Like, you served a god. Like, you had everything you needed as a priestess. Why would you do that? And Theophany's like, why would you serve a god when you can be one? Power is always the reason.
Ugh.
Power is always the reason.
And you know what she did? She distracted her long enough, so the darkness came.
Drathis is enveloped in darkness. Shadow spreads like a ripple, devouring the field in an onyx storm.
Ding, ding, ding. So, by the way, that's what my in-laws do. Whenever they're watching a movie,
they find
whenever the title comes up, whoever goes ding, ding, ding first wins.
Oh.
Which is actually pretty fun.
Hilarious.
When you get to do it.
I'm stealing it.
But I'm really bad at it.
Oh, really?
I am.
What's it called? It's actually called something.
A game?
I don't know. I did find it interesting that when that happened, remember how we pointed out before that it's stroked, the shadows stroked, the beginning of the book, the shadows stroked her cheek and it almost felt like home. She said it was terrifyingly powerful with Seagal, but not like this. Like, she knew the shadows were different. But she still felt like a little soft touch.
Tenderness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she whispered,
I love you.
down the bond.
And the shadows keep going. That
And they're
didn't
like,
work.
bitch, Theophany, get on your ass. They pushed her over.
Yes. And then in her head, she hears, strike in the dark. And she's like, oh my gosh, Auric can tell the future. He's a
knew this was
precog.
gonna happen. She was putting it all together about Theophany saying the pain of not going back to the temple. This is a piece of the temple.
Yes.
Strike in the dark. Darkness is around me. He fucking knew.
Yes.
He's a real precog.
And Violet like powers up and she
Which
like
I didn't understand
holds,
why she powered up right now.
because she's trying to like get enough to knock her, but she needs to focus.
Okay.
That's what I took it as.
I thought it was a little unnecessary.
Okay. So she's focusing hard. So she's like, F at this up. And Theophany sees her and she actually smacks like into this invisible wall, which happened to be
And Darna.
And Darna.
I like how she's like, and the wall snarls. I knew right away. As soon as they said
Yes.
invisible wall, I'm like, and Darna's back!
Yes. So Andarna's back, but it's also sad that she can't feel that Andarna's there.
But she did. I thought she did.
No,
she didn't. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she is like mesmerized by the Irid and she's like, oh,
Theophany.
she's here
Yeah.
and stuff. And that is enough distraction for Violet to actually take the knife and kill her with it.
The rock.
And she is just the rock knife dagger. Rock
Marble.
knife dagger. That's what it's called. Trust me, I listened to the book like 5 seconds ago. So she kills her and Theophany is actually like surprised. It's like, how did that work? And Violet's like,
Theophany says, stone doesn't kill venom.
yeah.
So it is a dagger, knife, rock, stone, sword.
I told you. I know my shit. Me and Rebecca discussed it before the book
This is
came
why
out.
you got your book first. That's what I forgot. I forgot.
So, and she said, you were never just Venin. Dune is a wrathful goddess to high priestesses who turn their backs on her. Gotcha, punk.
Bitch. And right then, that's when Violet releases it, passes out.
Yeah. But she's also like, I just saved the day.
I don't even know if she was able to think that. She just passed out. We don't even know what happened. Did she die? Did she
Okay.
not? We don't know because it goes to Zayden's chapter. Boom.
It's fade to black, Nicole. Get over it.
It's hard. It's really hard.
It usually is in fade to black. But a bump.
Look at, she got jokes. Jokes. We get to Zayden's point of view, and he's pissed. Go figure. Mm-hmm. But he's mad that he was summoned away from the battle to watch them snare Seagull. And he's bitching the most about the fact that Berwin is there, and he can't kill him because he's his sage. So this is the first we hear that, like, he can't kill him.
I didn't know. His teacher.
Because it's his teacher, yeah. So he talks about how he's being guarded. A Seagull is chained and snared and is guarded by 2 Venin, one being Berwin, and he can't kill him. And he's like, I wonder how many people feel this way. Well, I know one does. Which made me think, is he talking about himself or is he talking about another Venin that he knows?
I don't know.
Okay. Again, I'm pointing out all these things for setup for theories,
well,
right?
Well, because he actually went to visit Jack once, but who's to say he hasn't been visiting him?
He hasn't been around a ton.
No.
He's on other missions. He could be doing a whole other thing that we don't know about.
Yeah.
That is leading to what is about to happen.
Well, and Garrick seemed to grab Jack pretty easily.
Pretty damn quick. And Garrick's also been gone a lot, too.
Yeah.
Anyways,
by gone, we just mean not surrounding Violet all the time.
True. I mean, granted, this is from Violet's point of view, so it's not weird that we haven't seen, but there is...
And she's in school and he's away.
There's a lot of downtime. Yeah. There's a lot of downtime. He does mention, my sage has another sibling he can use against me. I'm screwed. So someone else has turned. And at this point, obviously, we do not know who it is. I also found it interesting that he described Berwin as having that scar down his face from when he chucked him in the ravine.
Got him. Which I think originally we thought that Berwin was dead.
We all did.
When he
But that's not how you kill Venin. Yeah, they didn't know that then. He looks at his new brother, the unconscious dragon in the valley beyond the cannon, guarded by 7 wyvern. 7, which I think is a lot. 1. So unconscious dragon, again, I'm pointing out all these things so we can talk about them later. He also says, how could he do this to me? So we know it's a he.
Yeah.
After watching me stumble and fall for the last 5 months. So we also know it's somebody in his inner circle.
Somebody who's known since the beginning.
Right.
Which means
Which eliminates
Bodhi,
the core 4.
Garrick, yeah.
Imogen,
Violet nude, Imogen nude. That was it. Brennan.
Because the core 4, Mira, found out later.
Yeah.
We also see Panchek. Traitorous ass bitch. He also says, fucker deserves to suffer, which I loved. I wrote that one down.
I did not. This came as
I
a
didn't see that
huge
coming.
surprise.
So when I first read this, I thought Panchek was the brother. As I was reading this part, that he was like, we agreed to this, da da da, and Zayden's, observing him, like begging for basically leniency from Berwyn. I'm the only way that you have access to your son. Meanwhile, Segale is in Zayden's mind saying, don't turn. He hasn't gotten to you yet. Don't give in.
Don't
and Zayden's like, there's no other way.
Yeah.
She's like, do not lose yourself.
For me.
Panchek is still arguing in the background. He's like, you won't kill me. I have access, give you access. And Berwyn's like, I have another way. Takes his dagger, stabs Panchek's dragon, kills it.
Oh, God.
So Panchek's going to die. And meanwhile, Zayden's like, he just killed a fucking dragon.
He doesn't care.
With a dagger.
Yeah.
But I don't even, the way Zayden was saying is that's not possible.
Yeah.
How did you even have a dagger that could pierce the scales?
Yeah.
Because remember when Violet got down off of Tarn, she dragged her dagger down. It's it won't cut the scales, but it cuts the net.
Yeah.
So that is also, I think, something as well. Berwyn starts to walk over to Segale and is villain monologuing to Zayden, saying I'm about to do the same to your dragon. Meanwhile, Segale's like, do not turn. You will not turn. Do not save me. And he's like, the amount of power you're going to have to channel in order to replace hers, it's going to make him turn. He's trying to make him turn. Zayden finally breaks, reaches for the ground. He says, I don't just skate over the ice. I become it. And remember, panning back to Violet's point of view, when she heard Segale scream, right, the agony, she said that she went to the thing and felt the bond of ice repel her back.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel like that's when when that happened.
Yeah.
He said he exhales darkness. So I just saw him and just black darkness all
just
across the ravine. Everywhere, panning over it all. His shadows are everywhere. He shreds the net on Segale. He kills Wyvern on Dane and Kath. Kills Wyvern by Imogen. Talks about the end of his soul. He can feel it releasing. He hears a voice.
Yeah.
He hears a voice.
I love you.
He grabs onto it. That's like Violet when she felt the
he's
darkness. He said it felt like it was a little piece of his soul, a little thread. He grabbed onto it before it was gone because it was warmth and light and love. And he held on to that one piece and then he let go of the ground.
Yeah.
And then he looked at Segale and he asked her, would she forsake him now? And she's like, there's not much left of you.
Yeah.
To forsake, is there? And he lowers the ice, lets her in. She sees something.
Yeah.
His plan. She goes, you could not mean to. He's like, you saw what happened. It's the only way. And she's like, you think she'll help? And he's like, she loves me. Tarn doesn't, though.
Yeah.
From
Tarn
Segale.
does not.
Tarn doesn't, and you haven't seen yourself. You look venom.
You are totes venom now.
Your eyes be all veiny.
No.
You haven't seen yourself. It's not looking good. And he's like, she'll help. I promise. Even if she agrees. Segale's like, even if she agrees, no one will. He's like, someone owes me a favor.
Yeah.
He starts to think of himself. What am I even? He ends with hers. I'm hers.
Violet wakes up. Because remember, she passed out after she murdered Theophany.
Yeah.
Which is more than anybody's done with a venom of that caliber.
Okay. Pausing real quick.
Yes.
I know I'm bitching a lot at the end of this book right now.
Yes.
I also thought Theophany was a much harder villain then her death, like, it was a very anticlimactic death, in my opinion, for how big she's supposed to be.
I mean,
It was very,
like that was easy in the end.
yeah.
Even dummy Violet can figure it out.
She got stupid. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so Violet wakes up and Brennan's actually like shouting her name.
Violet! Violet!
Yeah. And Darna says, I will not let them burn you.
And Violet's kind of like, burn me?
What
Why
does
would my
that
brother
mean?
burn me? What
What's
the fuck is going on?
And so we find out that there are multiple riders and
First
dragons
of all,
dead.
Brennan's like, it's 3 a.m. Where the fuck have you been?
Yeah.
Where the fuck have you been?
And she's like, dude, I just killed somebody. Give me a break.
I just woke up on this gravel driveway.
Yes.
Okay? Like,
yeah.
You tell me, dude.
Yeah. And so we also know there are a bunch of people missing.
There are 4 riders missing.
And
there were 5, and the guy's like, now 4.
Now 4. But they know Ryerson did it.
But they're looping. Did you notice they were looping? They're like, 4 riders are missing. Dragons are dead.
6
we know
eggs.
Ryerson did this.
Yeah.
So they're blaming Ryerson for the dead dragons.
Yeah.
At this point.
And Garrick is one of the missing riders.
Yes.
So again, we know that there's a who was it that turned? Who's the brother? Garrick is one of the missing.
We officially.
Yeah.
And
Taryn is asleep. And she's like, why? What happened to Taryn? And so Andarna says he needs a cycle of rest to recover. And the crazy thing here is, okay, so Andarna's bond is back because she can communicate.
Yes.
Hopefully that helps.
When you said that before, I'm like, no, wait, she did. Oh, wait, right now she didn't, though.
Yeah. So Violet actually has an emerald ring on her left hand, and it is actually the emerald that was missing from the top of the Tyrandor sword.
The blade of Orisha.
The blade of Orisha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or also known as Tyrandor sword.
I think they're different swords.
No, I'm kidding. That's not. I said it like a common person, and you said the actual name of the blade.
Oh. So you're saying I'm smarter than you.
So I'm saying I'm such a Violet right now. And Violet immediately like tries to feel the bond with Xaden, and it's gone.
Yeah. Well, and when she with the ring,
Yeah.
Imogen was like, your finger, and she's like, oh yeah, I think I broke my arm. And it was
her
like,
arm
oh no,
splinted.
there's
Yeah.
a ring. But when she did that, she hit like a piece of paper
Yeah.
out of her jacket, and Brennan picked it up.
Yeah.
So he was like, do you want me to read this? And she's like, yeah.
Yeah. And it has the seal of Dune, and it's an official wedding blessing of marriage. And the note says, don't look for me. It's yours now. And then Violet finds out she's been gone for 12 hours.
Well, she starts to put it together. She's like, why does my mind feel like this?
It's
I can't
not
put anything
working.
together.
Yeah.
I'm married to Xaden. I have a ring. Don't look for me. It's yours now. How long have I been out? 12 hours. She looks at Imogen.
What did you do?
What you asked me to. End of book. Done.
Boom.
Done. End of book.
There.
Well, let's just list the holes first.
Yes.
Or
the cliffhangers.
The cliffhangers. Sorry. Whose brother?
I think it's either Bodhi or Garrick. The ending makes me think it's Garrick because he's giving away Orisha, is what I'm assuming. The dukedom. And
Well,
he
then that would be
married her,
Bodhi.
so she owned it. So that makes me think it's Bodhi.
But
Garrick looked burnt out AF.
no, they always refer to Tyrandor as she.
Yeah.
And her. So I think you can't overlook the fact that it says it is yours.
So I think I have 2 thoughts on that. It's either Tyrandor or it's his soul captured in the ring. Just like
That's what some people think. Like there is
Amarantha.
something about him grabbing for that thread.
and then the thread being infused in the ring.
He pulled up from the ground just in time to have a thread of it.
And so we don't know anything about where the core 4 are.
Well, we also don't know.
We don't know if anybody has died.
Out of those, we don't know that. We also don't know what happened over the last 12 hours.
Yeah.
We don't know why she's married to Xaden and
Yeah.
what that means.
Yes.
So part of that is that the bond of the marriage is what solidifies his soul. That she has it now because they're
Yeah.
married. We don't know why Andarna came back and why it was so fast.
Yes, so we don't know anything that happened to her. We don't know.
We don't know where Arik is.
No. Yeah, like
We
there's so
don't.
many people that could be
We
dead.
don't know why the eggs are missing.
Well, there's some sort of they went to the Isles and traded. I think
Was it Umbriel or
everyone wanted eggs.
no? Only the one.
Devarelli definitely wanted eggs,
Devarelli wanted the eggs, and they said come back when you're more desperate.
and so did Dune. They wanted 12 eggs. Yeah.
No, only Devarelli wanted
No,
the eggs.
Dune wanted 12 eggs.
They did not.
I'm
Only
gonna look
one
it up.
place wanted eggs.
I'm pretty sure
Well,
that.
I think you're right. It
Dune.
might be Dune, but only one place wanted eggs. I can't remember what place it was. You're right. It was the ones with the priestesses, so that's Dune.
Yeah.
Well, but that place was called Umbriel. They just honored Dune. When she fought the
But Devarelli was the reason why
crazy
they
king.
withdrew troops was because they didn't fulfill the promise of providing eggs.
dragons.
Dragon eggs. Let me go to Reddit. Reddit is more reliable.
Actually, no, you're right. Devarelli, that was the broken promise previously, like the last
Yes.
war 500 years ago.
So we know at least two would
So
be
you are
interested
right. They
in
would be
eggs.
interested for sure.
Yeah.
Umbriel, the Dune people, literally said, "Yeah, it's
But
too steep
to
of a
me,
price."
this is like child trafficking. Why would he steal 6 eggs? I'm not liking his venom ass right now.
Yeah.
And
we don't-
Frierson stole eggs and traded them. Especially
Again,
knowing
let's
like
keep.
Dune,
I think
they
we're not giving enough credit to the fact that the dragons also were specifically picking the relic kids for
Yeah.
specific reasons to give them double signets.
that we don't know.
And we don't really know that for a fact yet. We're alluding to that, and we don't know the reason why.
Yeah.
So I think we're underestimating that the dragon's eggs were stolen at all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the other things. We don't know anything about Venin culture or
No.
school or
We know
whatever
there's
it
someone
is.
higher than
We-
Theophany.
Yeah. We don't know anything about the Imperium,
Right.
like the politics there.
Nope.
We
I do think there was more, considering the fact that there's more versions of Irid,
yeah.
and there were dens,
Yeah.
right? The green dragons are a den. How are there multiple dens of Irid? I think there's more to the story of the separation of the Irid and the dragon.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Irid are the same as them at all. I do think they pull magic differently.
Yeah.
That's why Andarna's powers are different. I've heard theories that like dragons, everything's from Mother Nature, and in Venom you can pull from the ground. Dragons you pull from the dragon. It's almost like the Irid, it's like from the sun. And so all the Irid being like obsessed with them and saying like you can wield the power of the sky and you don't even know it. Like that's
like she has almost that Irid ability.
right. Like there's something a lot more than just like the dream walking
Yeah.
with all of that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because again, it could be that the Irids are the Navarian people where they made themselves safe and they knew that the venom would just die, like eventually die off.
Yeah.
And so they hid behind their power instead of hiding behind the wards, but people are still out there dying.
But you're leaving one of your eggs as a test.
Yeah. It's very
it's a little sus
it's
on who the Irid are. Or is there something else in the history?
It's
Like
like
why
you
are
have
the
such a
Venom so
privilege.
obsessed? Why is Theophany so obsessed with the Irid too? Remember
Yeah.
she was like mesmerized and like almost touched her. Just like,
Yeah.
what? What are you doing? So is there some sort of history with that?
there's
The
so
three
much.
brothers.
I want the next book to scribe it out. Let's get
hope.
Jacinia in here. Let's have her like
She's not really
actually
in this book
find
at
shit
all.
out. She should just be at Devarelli just consuming books.
Okay, so I will say exactly what I text my acupuncturist.
Okay. Good. This will be good then.
She said, I just finished it. What did you think? And I said, good as in it's the third book of a 5-book series where we went all the way around the world but ended up where we started, and Riddick got to be funny along the way, and I don't hate Dane anymore.
Yeah. No, it's
So I'm really going to be mad if the fourth book doesn't answer a lot of questions and isn't way, way
more
better.
active.
Like maybe once I see the full series, I'll be like, oh, okay,
Okay, I
now I
get it.
really understand that.
You had to do
But
that.
right now, I don't think it was bad. I loved going to the aisles. I'm really pissed I didn't have a map, obviously. I loved going to the aisles. I loved um, knowing more about the characters to the point I'm annoyed that I didn't get to know other characters.
Yeah.
But like, I'm annoyed that it's such a large, so much is unanswered.
Yeah.
So much is unanswered. We don't know shit about curing the venom. We
Yeah.
don't know anything about any of that. If anything, I just got more annoyed with Violet and Zayden's relationship.
So I feel like this sounds bad, but I usually don't care as much about the character development. I don't feel like this book did any character development.
I mean, Riddick was
Riddick was
hilarious.
funny. We didn't
And we
see,
got to connect a little bit more
but
with
we
Sawyer.
didn't see so many characters.
Yeah, we barely saw Ree. We got the one glimpse of Sawyer.
We didn't.
We got Quinn's amazing death without any context of who she was.
Well, and you've got to kind of weigh like how much information are you gaining versus how much information you're missing. Because
I mean, it took me 3/4 of the book to realize if they were talking about Llewellyn a person or Llewellyn the place.
and it's just like the plan at the end where it's like usually it's like, okay, here's the plan, okay, go, and then you go execute the plan, and then the oh my gosh is when the plan deviates and you have to think on your feet.
Right.
And so it builds context, and then you go through the plan and it's interesting, but instead of like being interested in it, it's like this book was built almost to have to read twice.
Yeah.
Because most of the time you're figuring out what the hell is going on with this plan.
It's almost built.
You're not actually able to react to what's happening.
I don't know if it's going to fully make sense until we read the next book.
Yeah,
in
maybe
all
not.
honesty. And again, I'm not mad about it. It was a good read, but I'm just hoping it flushes itself out in the rest of the series.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people who are like, I'm DNFing the series, and I'm
Oh,
like, I'm not
no,
ready to do
you
that.
Don't give up.
No, and it was not bad. I enjoyed myself.
Well, and frankly, even if the next two are quote unquote bad, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
And then you just read it quickly. You more skim it than get in it.
Right. Right. So overall, happy. Did not necessarily meet the hype.
But the hype was very high.
It was very high.
It was unreasonably high for a first fantasy series.
I do think I enjoyed it more because I read it and then we did our little cabin thing and were able to listen, and I think the events surrounding it made it a lot more enjoyable and fun.
That was really fun.
And each individual story, like that's what I loved, going to each aisle and their small short stories were very good and entertaining, and I really liked them.
I think that is a tradition we do with every new book release. We do it like that. So that way we can release it faster with whatever is happening.
So when the sixth book comes out for ACOTAR, we do that when the next book comes out for this.
Because that was fun.
Especially series that we've already started that aren't done yet.
If she just lets us keep using her cabin.
Yeah, I mean, we just sat in there.
Okay. So I would agree with your assessment. Order. Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx Storm. What's your ranking in order?
I think Fourth Wing might be my probably Iron. Fourth Wing was really cool.
Yeah.
The intro to the world and the intro to the dragon dynamics.
Yeah.
But Iron Flame was really cool too.
I would go Iron Flame, Fourth Wing, Onyx Storm.
Yeah, that's probably. I'd say Iron Flame and Fourth Wing are pretty close.
Yeah.
And I think Iron Flame is a good cliffhanger at the end. Yeah. Right? Like, oh my god.
It's a devastating one though. That affected me for multiple days. Where I was just in a sad, depressed mood.
And like, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Like, what happens?
It was just like, are you kidding me? Like, just give us a win.
I feel like the next book has got to be like some big thing like that again. But this was a lot of setup for Onyx Storm was a lot of setup.
Yeah.
For something bigger.
Yeah.
And Fourth Wing's just cool because it was just a really great first book into a fantasy series.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the ACOTAR where everyone's like, when does this book get good? And it's like, book 2.
Yeah.
It gets good at book 2.
We promise. Well, the last 100 pages were enough to get you to read book 2, but you had to get to that last 100 pages.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people are like, why are you reading this? And it's like, just wait.
Just come on.
But there was a video that was like, so when does this get good? And I commented, book 2. Sorry
about you.
All right, you guys. Well, Onyx Storm is done. We are going to record a theories at some point. I don't know if it's going to come next before the next book, but we are going to gather a bunch of the little things me and Marissa have been talking about and bring them together. And our next book, we always do that little palate cleanser before we start a new series. We are going to read The Measure, which is, what would you say that's like sci-fi?
I would say so. It's by Nikki Ehrlich, and I only know that because
good job.
Behind us.
It's right behind us in our nice office setup. But the premise of the book is essentially one day everyone wakes up and has a box on their front doorstep with a string. And the chaos that ensues after that. The string is theory to represent the length of your life total. And then after that, every day, everybody, once you turn 22, you get a box. And it's just what unfolds. So various people's points of view.
Protect your string at all
I would say
costs.
that's a sci-fi. Is that
yeah,
sci-fi?
I would say that's good.
So far it is. I haven't finished the book yet.
Okay. Well, we will see.
But we're doing that as a palate cleanser. And then are we officially doing...
Yes.
We're doing the Crowns of Nyxia series next. So that is 3 duologies is what it's going to be. They play off each other, but you don't have to read them in an order. So it is, think, Hunger Games meets Vampires is kind of the first book and kind of goes from there. So Crowns of Nyxia is the next series we will be starting.
We got it.
All right, you guys. Well, we have thoroughly enjoyed.
We have.
Our second series. High five across.
Boop.
Our second series is complete. Thank you for talking high tales with your favorite lit sisters.
Enjoy your day, morning, evening, night.
Avoidance of other people, whatever you're doing right now.
Whatever you're doing.
Whatever
avoiding
we're here
life like we are.
Can you tell we want to keep talking?
Just don't make us go back to the real world.
Don't make us do anything. We can waste a little bit more time. Okay, bye guys. See ya.
Goodbye.